Michael Storey in the building. How you doing? You got a nice light going on behind you. What's going on? You look good in front of you. You look like an angel, dude.
We need to know, like, did somebody send this to me? Because it was so weird. Like a week before, you're like, you gotta get a ring light. You gotta get some light on you. You look washed out or whatever. So a week later, it shows up to my office from Amazon. Don't know where, don't know who. Nobody has fessed up to it, and it's here now. So it's just a part of this now. It's a part of us.
Yeah, you look better. I mean, you always look good. I need the soft lighting, otherwise I look like I'm 50 years old. So it's huge. And you guys see me in person, you're like, Rob looks like shit. But it's convenient. You would think it was me. I thought when you said it to me originally, I thought you meant ring doorbell. I'm like, nah, dude. And I didn't send this either way. I would tell you if I did, because I'd want the money back, because I'm a broke bitch. I want the $12.99 back, dude.
I was gonna say it's from China, so I can't imagine that it's particularly expensive. We'll give it a shot. We'll see how it works. Like I said, it's part of us now.
What a time. Y'all need to hold this stream up now, boys. Get to work. Like, sub, super. Also, shouts to Storey for the sexy new look.
Yeah.
Man, he got his hair. He's really going for it. You're like a model right now.
I need a haircut.
Looks great.
Wait till I get a haircut next week.
I finally watched Oppenheimer. I had not seen it.
Oh, okay. And thoughts? Because I saw it in the theater.
Really good. The last hour is so unnecessary. What is up with all that trial shit? It doesn't go anywhere. Like, they need to dive into what happened in Japan. I know that it wasn't like Nolan's goal there, but like that would have been way more entertaining. Fine movie, great acting, a lot of good, awesome cameos, and a lot of different big people in that movie. Directed beautifully. Christopher Nolan's awesome. It's the same thing with Interstellar. I love Interstellar, but the last like 40 minutes of Interstellar are terrible. The ending of Interstellar is great, but like that 40-minute
in and of itself is a pretty mediocre movie.
Way better than Oppenheimer. Way better than Oppenheimer.
I think Oppenheimer is better. I'm not saying it's one of his best. You didn't see The Odyssey yet, did you?
No, I was going to ask you. Did you? I heard it's really good.
It's good. It's really good. I'd say it's one of it's definitely top half. It's probably top third. It's
better than Prestige.
Loud. If you're going to go see it in the theater, it's loud. I would recommend, like a set of earplugs or something. I mean, it's literally like one of the loudest movies I've ever heard.
Thank you. Silence. Connor says currently watching the first CFL game ever. Watching his first CFL game ever. Low-key electric. You like watching random football, don't you?
I do. Yeah. I also like watching random like lacrosse. You'll find lacrosse on in the spring, so that's kind of fun to watch. Those guys get mean.
The question is, do you bet on it? Because if you're betting on these random sports, then you're a real degen.
No, I don't think I've ever bet on a CFL league. I've bet on the Pro Bowl. That makes me a degen, but that was back when they actually, I'll tell you a story, probably 10, 12 years ago. You remember the Pro Bowl was becoming a joke where it was like the final score was 54-48 or whatever nonsense. So one year I'm like, I'm betting you over. It's always set in the 60s and they always go flying past it. Well, that was J.J. Watt's like second or third Pro Bowl, and he just went absolutely bananas. He took it seriously. And I think there was the final, like the total went under by 20 points or something. It was
with these All-Star games, all it takes is one guy, like one all-time great. You've seen this in the NBA forever. Jordan did it with the All-Star games. And if they take it serious, then everyone follows suit, right? Like they start playing defense. Everyone's like, oh, fuck, this is for real. So that sucks that you got screwed in that bet. Also, rule of thumb, don't bet on All-Star games. That's definitely what you shouldn't be doing because that's a losing battle. Mouth with a $5 holler here. Thank you all. Joanne is in the finals of the Maxim Cover Girl competition. We beat that lady who kept buying votes. If she wins now, it's $10K. Let's go, guys. I know a lot of you guys helped out with that. Appreciate everybody.
Okay.
Shout out to Mouth. Everyone else. Disbanded's in here with just a period. We love you, Disbanded. A new member. Disbanded's the newest member of the community. Let's give him a round of applause, a thank you, a welcome, a congratulations. All those things. Thank you, buddy. We just put Disbanded on there. He's a professional, so can't wait to see you around the community for years and years to come. We'll start with 1 month, see how it goes. Hopefully it's years and years, Story, because a lot of these guys have stayed in there with us all off season, and I think we're definitely putting out a lot of product. I think the most in the industry. We just keep on. I did 4.5 hours last night. After you got off, Story, I did 3 more hours Tuesday, so 9 hours the last 2 nights. We'll see how it goes tonight.
You're an animal. I mean, I can't stay on terribly late tonight. I got a funeral to go to in Evanston tomorrow.
Who's that?
One of my friend's sister's husband's mother.
Jesus, dude. So nobody. I'm not saying
They're,
nobody, but no one to you.
They're like family, so and it's a Catholic funeral. So not only is it super early, it goes for like an hour and a half. So wish me luck.
Did you actually meet this person? Do you know their name?
Yeah, I've met her a few times. Her name is like Agnes or something. She was super old. She was like 91.
The kid in me likes the frosted side, but the grown-up in me likes the kid in me.
Wow! It looks like Michael Jackson's coming right at me!
Blake says former roommate. Don't you love that? That's the notorious in Ferris Bueller's. Like my best friend's sister's roommate's brother, whatever she said, to Ben Stein, just like said Ferris passed out of 31 Flavors last night.
I also think Ferris Bueller's Day Off is a bit of a mediocre movie. It's overrated.
Definitely overrated, but in the lexicon and pop culture, you see why. I'm not a big fan of what's his name, the guy, the murderer, the actor in that movie.
The pedophile?
No, Jesus, I don't know. Matthew Broderick.
Murderer. What?
Yeah, in Germany. Well, he was a car accident. 2 people died because of him.
I didn't know that. No, the principal in that he's a known pedophile.
Max, you were on here, buddy. I don't think I took you off. Let me check this out. You might be on the. Let's see. It's because there's a comment covering your name. Oh. He must have been taken off. What the fuck? All right, I'm gonna get that changed. We're gonna get that changed right away. I apologize to Max. We'll get you on there. My bad. Good man. Thank you. Call me out when I need to be called out. You know, checks and balances, baby. All right, we got a good show today. This is what the hell do we call it? Not undervalued. Unbuzzed players, under the radar players. Story guys that aren't really getting a lot of hype and a lot of steam, and guys we haven't talked about in particular.
So I just want to, for the record, the dean of students, played by Jeffrey Jones in Ferris Bueller's Day Off, in 2002, he was charged with soliciting a minor to pose for nude photographs.
Yeah, he definitely is. I thought you were talking about Matthew Broderick.
No. Okay, I just want to make sure.
Matthew Broderick, murderer, and this guy definitely pedo. So yeah, he's awesome in that movie, but he is a scummy dude.
I'm in football mode now. All right, I'm just to get that out of the system.
So this is under the radar player story. We haven't talked about a lot of these. We've talked about every player a million times this offseason, but I found some guys that I think that aren't getting a lot of hype in general with other shows, with articles I read, and also players we haven't really targeted in terms of conversations. Guys I'm not drafting very much, but some guys I like. Brock Purdy's on this list, and I bet the MVP. I have the MVP vote for Brock Purdy, but we haven't really chatted too much about Brock Purdy. So we have 8 guys on this list. Before we get to that, let's get to I got a couple things for you per usual. Let's get to a stat of the day. I read this with Chaz yesterday. I want to get your take on it. What are your feelings on kickers? Let's start there in fantasy. Kickers and defenses, but specifically kickers.
So I nerf the kicker scoring in my home league because I find that kickers, I know that there are people in the industry who say kickers aren't random and there's certain variables that you look for in order to stream kickers properly. I don't subscribe to the notion of taking a kicker early and riding them all season. I think it's a waste of time. I'm not sure we could have. I mean, you could take the kicker on the high scoring game, and that game could end up 17-3, and you can get 5 points or whatever it is. I don't know. It feels more. I think it's more random than any other position by a mile, including defenses. Although defenses, that can be pretty random in fantasy football too. How often do you see where it's like the stream of the week, they lay an egg against a super soft matchup?
Well, because defenses usually rely on a defensive touchdown, and that's really, really hard to predict. Kickers, though, is volume, which is easy to predict. But this stat right here, sorry, you can see it. This is 55-plus yard field goals made, regular season and playoffs since 2000. It used to be 1 and 3 and 2 a year. Now, over the last 3 years, 49, 46, and 55. These aren't 50-yarders. These are 55-plus. I just want to get your take on this. And, the football is a little different. The kickers are much better. They're more accurate, and they're the lag. Everyone can kick a 50-yarder now. Like everyone can kick a 60-yarder now with decent success. And you mix that with the new kickoff rules, it's out of control. Do you think this is going to stop this trend, or is it going to continue? Like, are we going to see this number up to 70 in 2 years? Because that's how it's trending right now.
Yeah, it's tough for me to discount this as noise because we've had it jumped precipitously in 22 Was there a significant rule change in 22 versus 21 that I don't know about?
No, I mean, now you have the 35-yard kickoff rule, so now you're already almost in field goal range. Like
Right.
Cam Little, you're almost in field. If you get 12 yards, you're in Cam Little's potential field goal range at the end of a half.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy if you think about it. This might be due in part, or this might be one of the reasons that we've seen offenses being somewhat less potent, and we've seen scoring down, relatively speaking. In addition to some schematic changes that we've seen across the league, as well as coaching decisions. I don't know. I mean, yeah, like it seems like it's a trend. I know it's only 2 or 3 years, but this kind of feels like the way the NFL is headed, where we had an offensive explosion in the late 20 teens and into the 2020s, and now it's a seesaw league as we've seen it time in and time out, where offenses do one thing. Remember the Wildcat? The Wildcat was a thing.
Oh my God, Ronnie Brown, baby.
Yeah, for a half
That was great.
Whatever it was, till defenses adjusted and people started copying it. So it's probably going to swing back eventually. I don't know that it'll be this year, though, because you mentioned it. There is a plethora of really good kickers in the league right now.
I have a trivia question for you. There's one proper answer. Let's see if you get it. If you could name one coach, the most likely coach to abolish kickers, who would it be in the NFL right now? There's one answer. Yes, you got it. It's easiest answer ever, right?
Yeah.
Like, he hates kickers. I refuse, even in good matchups, I refuse to stream Bates, because I'm like, watching that is the worst, because it's like 4th and 6 from the fucking 32-yard line, and they're up by 7, and he's like, we're going for it in the third quarter. I'm like, no. You actually kick the field goal, you go up 2 scores, and then they won't get the 4th down, and they won't kick a field goal the rest of the game. That's why I loved Myers last year, because they were so conservative, the Seahawks, and they're just like, when they're supposed to go for it, McDonald's like, we're running the kicker out there for a 51-yarder, and that guy made me a lot of money last year.
You know who loves kickers? Sean McVay.
Yeah, and he usually doesn't have great kickers, though, which is weird. He loves kickers, but he never has a good kicker.
He loves kicking. He maybe doesn't love kickers. He loves kicking a field goal. He loves kicking a field goal on 4th and short.
You want to say that because essentially what you're saying, if you read into it, is you hate Sean McVay. You're saying Sean McVay's a pussy. That's what I'm reading into.
I hate him. I think he's a bit of a coward. But
you think he's a coward? Exactly. That's what he was trying to say. He's trying to like make a point without actually making the point, and appreciate that. And Mike Storey hating coaches. Breaking news, guys. If you didn't know this, I gotta get a graphic for this. I gotta get a new thing. The grind my gears thing is one thing. I gotta get a specific coach graphic and clip for you. I'm gonna come up with that real soon. Okay. That's I'm gonna stay up till 5 a.m. doing that tonight. Let's get to. So yeah, I just wanted to touch on the kickers a little bit. Let's get to some news. I got 2 news items that are very important.
Guys, I've got news. I've got terrible news.
Oh, so this is exactly what I wanted a vacation from.
There are 2 guys in this church that are gay.
Who's the other guy?
I don't get the joke.
Yeah, he's never gonna understand.
What's wrong with that?
All right, Malik Neighbors, man, we finally got some news. Before that, real quick, Joe Mixon. There was Joe Mixon news. Joe Mixon is essentially retiring from football. We've been saying this since last offseason. It's official. He told teammates he's probably never playing again. Anyways, Malik Neighbors finally got some news story, and it is on the positive side. At least it's not negative. He's expected to avoid the PUP, and week 1 is a realistic possibility. I've been saying there's a chance here, and a lot of people are saying that he's out till week 5 guaranteed. How do you take this? They didn't say which pup it is, but either way, the fact they're saying he might be ready week 1, it's probably not going to happen, but that's much better than what we had before this.
I mean,
no news.
I'd be floored if he avoided the preseason pup. I think this report is probably talking about the in-season, right? So where you have to miss a minimum 4 games. Preseason, right. You can go on the pup and come off immediately.
Correct.
There's no restriction there. So I'd still be really surprised if he missed it. God, when do they report? 4 days, something like that. When do veterans report? I know rookies are reporting now. Doesn't matter. So, it's a good thing. I think you can be more confident drafting Malik Neighbors, especially where he's dropped to. At the same time, I think you're going to be a little underwhelmed with his production to start the year. I mean, when you look at
that's baked in.
Yeah. So, well,
that's baked in story.
The other thing is I don't know. I'm cooling on that Giants offense. I think they might want to. It's Harbaugh and Matt Nagy. I think they might
Greg Roman.
They might want to run the ball. Nagy was a terrible head coach, and he had one good season as an offensive coordinator, not a very creative play caller. Outside of the rookie and Malik Neighbors, what do they realistically have at pass catchers? Isaiah Likely, who's never done it. I don't know. I'm a little worried. And Jackson Dart, we saw half the season of okay numbers. A lot of it was due to rushing. I'm not sure that he's a prolific passer yet, so I'm a little worried.
Yeah, and Jackson Dart, like we saw C.J. Stroud take a major step back after his rookie year, and Jackson Dart was not the passer that C.J. Stroud was coming out of college. You mentioned that you're worried about the start, which we all are worried about the start, but here's the upside now. Like, if he missed 4 games, and we all agree the first 2 or 3 weeks after that, he's not going to be playing a full snap share. Now you're looking at week 8 until you can comfortably start Neighbors as a wide receiver too. If he plays week 1, and even if he's playing 40 or 50% of the snaps, the timeline changes. Now you're looking at week 4 to get a full go of Malik Neighbors. And in that case, we're getting him in the mid-4th right now. Dude, he deserves to be a, Chris Olave level, like that, right after the 2-3 turn, like pick 29. If we know he's playing week 1, even though you're not going to be able to start him the first couple weeks or not with confidence, I would rather have him than Olave. Where's Neighbors, dude?
Where's he being drafted now? He's slipped a little.
ADP is 40, but I usually get him at 45. So middle of the 4th round is usually where he goes.
So the problem there, let's think through this, because you draft him middle of the 4th round. If he's active week 1, they're not going to say he's active with a restriction. So you're going to play him week 1. What if he comes out and lays an egg? Okay, maybe you say it's first game back, shaking the rust off. What if he lays an egg in week 2? Now, are you going to bench your 4th round pick? I don't know what their schedule looks like, but if he comes out and he drops 2 duds in a row, which is very possible with this injury, do you have the confidence to not start him?
I've been saying this about Neighbors. Like the shallower the league, the more I'm targeting Malik Neighbors. If it's a deep league with 2 flexes and 3 receivers, you got to really temper your expectations. And if I have a better option, if I have Khalil Shakir, it's a tough decision, right? You feel like an idiot if you start Shakir and Neighbors comes out and drops 5 for 80 and a touchdown. But you got to draft accordingly, right? You want to draft some more depth there at wide receiver when you take Neighbors. But the upside now, again, if he even misses 2 games, let's just call it 2 games. I'm fine with him in the 4th round. I am totally fine because I like to play for early season stuff, but in certain examples, I want to play for late season stuff. And Malik Neighbors is where would he be drafted? If there was no ACL, I think he's a 1-2 turn pick. I would take Neighbors over Justin Jefferson. Would you? If there was no injury?
It really depends on how his season went with Jackson Dart. Based on what we saw, I will say, I don't want to label
Wan'Dale Robinson at 80 receptions. He would have been fine. It's
different regime, different play caller, different head coach. Harbaugh he's a Muppet, man. He's a absolute clown. I can't trust him and Matt Nagy. Realistically, I can't trust anything about this organization. Either one of these organizations.
Trust Malik Neighbors averaging about 10 targets a game, though. I mean,
he might have to because
he is.
The rest of the wide receiver room is not ideal.
Did you see the speech from Harbaugh? That was
I did. I sent it to you,
dude. Oh, you're the one that sent it to me. All right, cool. It's funny. I asked you a question and you're like, I sent it to you. Wow, that's speechless stuff. Pretty much, he was speechless because he said nothing of note. It was trying to be rah-rah, but there was literally no energy. I compared it yesterday to a really, really bad wedding speech where you have the maid of honor who is just a nervous, non-social chick who's kind of buzzed and she has note cards and she's my sister Nicole. She's a very good sister. We go way back. Tom, her new husband. I've always liked him. Get to the fucking heart stuff. Get to the juicy stuff. What are you doing, Harbaugh?
You don't have to do that, Harbaugh. You don't have to be that guy. You've got a decade and a half with one organization. Your resume should speak for itself. I mean, just imagine you're sitting in there and you're like, oh God, I signed with this team. This guy, this is who I'm playing for.
What's up, Kenneth? Hey, Kenneth, I sent you an email. I gave you an email back just so you know. He says he's completely out on Neighbors this year. Are you out? It sounds like you're out, Storey.
I don't know that I'm out. I mean, especially since he's dropped into the 4th, but you can't tell me that if he makes it through training camp, his ADP will not stick around there. It'll be vastly different come the end of training camp if he's if they say he's ready to go. He won't be a 4th-round pick in 4 weeks.
No, and in your home leagues, like there's gonna be people that don't realize he's injured. Like in me and Ray's home league, we had a buddy which actually ended up working out. Remember how everyone was assuming Christian Watson like wasn't playing until like week 13 last year, and he came back earlier than we thought. Dude took Christian Watson in the 8th round in a 12-team league, and I'm like, Watson's like not playing for 10 weeks. He's like, he's injured. Like, I'm just saying, like, this is a $200 home league, and like he didn't even know Watson had surgery. But it ended up being a decent pick for him because he came back like week 7. But there's many guys in your home league that doesn't know.
I got a story about. Remember when Jordy Nelson tore his ACL in a preseason? I don't know if it was at camp or in a preseason game or whatever.
No,
you don't remember that?
What was it? Sorry, I'm reading a comment. I zoned out.
You remember when Jordy Nelson tore his ACL during training camp? Yeah. So we had a home league that was drafting, I think on a Saturday, and there was a guy who was at a One Direction concert with his daughter. He was drafting from his phone, and he drafts Jordy Nelson. That's when Jordy Nelson was going super high. He drafted Jordy Nelson because he had no idea that he tore his ACL earlier that day.
That's what you get for going to a One Direction concert.
Yeah,
like don't go to One Direction. My buddy drafted Andrew Luck. We had a offline draft. I think I told this a couple weeks ago. And it takes like 5 hours. And he took Andrew Luck in the 6th round, the same day he retired. And he took him in the 6th round, and then he retired by the time we were in the 10th round because the game was going. It was halftime at the time. And then so he had to pivot and draft another quarterback in like the 11th round. But you know what? These things happen. Week 8 bye for Malik. Malik, let's say you knew 100% Malik Neighbors is back week 6. Would you rather have a full season of Tet or Malik after week 6?
Full season of Tet.
Well, I almost want Tet over Malik in general. I'm really high on Tet. You know what? Great segue here because our next news item is regarding Tet McMillan. And this is a really good report, man. NFL Network's Cameron Wolf reports that Panthers wide receiver Tet McMillan will play a lot more big slot this year. He played 15% of the snaps last year in the slot, and they're saying that'll double, if not more, which is what we want with Bryce Young. That is what we want with Bryce Young.
Yeah.
And Ted McMillan was like that clearly said 15% in the slot. He was very static last year. Canales runs a pretty static offense in general. So if you're not going to get motion with him, you're not going to get creativity with him. And he was pretty damn good last year just lining up at X as a rookie, which is really impressive. If you're going to get him the more easy layup touches, I like Tet McMillan. If you told me he's lining up at X all day in the end of the 3rd round already, he should be a 2-3 turn pick, right? Is there a chance? I know it sucks to buy into the Panthers offense and Bryce Young.
It's still the Panthers offense, and it's still Bryce Young, who's already shown us who he is. So the volume I shouldn't say that. The target share will be there. It's a question of whether the volume and efficiency will be there. And I'm not so sure it is to make him like a 2-3 round pick.
Tet is going ADP 38 and Malik Willis is like 30 or sorry, Malik Willis. Malik Neighbors is 39. So, but in our drafts, I draft Tet at the end of the 3rd round, and I'll take Malik at like the 406. So for me, I have him like 8 spots ahead of consensus, and 8 down on consensus for those two guys. Even though I'm still drafting Neighbors on certain builds, but I could make an argument though that I want Tet McMillan over George Pickens. Now I'm pretty low on George Pickens, but just he is the only show in town. I like Jalen Coker. Come on, dude. Is that a crazy argument to make?
No, especially if they move McMillan more into the slot. Where's Jalen Coker going to play? He's a big slot guy. What's he going to do? Is he going to be?
What they're saying is he's going to be 30 to 40% slot. That still gives Coker 60% of the slot.
Yeah, but what's he going to? Where's he going to play when McMillan?
He'll play X. He can play X. Like he is much more equipped to play X than Wan'Dale Robinson is. You know what I mean? Like he's a 6'2".
He's a big slot guy, right? I get that, but he thrives in the slot. I don't know. I mean, you're out on Pickens because of the cost this year, or what's your trepidation?
Oh, the cost. Yeah, the cost. That's
Okay.
it. Just nothing's changed. I loved him last year because he was a 6th round pick. I hate him this year because he's a 2nd round pick. And he's going to be drafted highly because people are going to look at his numbers last year. And we have people in here like the one Dallas guy that's saying that he thinks that he's a better receiver than CeeDee Lamb. Like, what? No, he's not a better receiver than CeeDee Lamb. But people saw last year and he outproduced CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb was playing hurt, and they think he's better than CeeDee Lamb. Like, George Pickens is really elite. He's a top 15, top 20 receiver in the NFL. CeeDee Lamb's top 5 receiver in the NFL, and I don't think that's changed. Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree with that. Well, let's see. 1, 2, 3, JSN, top 5. So what, you're putting
I put him at number 5. Like
Justin
St. Brown and it's St. Brown and
so Jefferson 6?
No, I have Jefferson ahead of JSN still, bro. I'm still not like sold on JSN being like a top 3 receiver.
Okay.
You need 1 year. I mean, Justin Jefferson's like an all-timer.
Yeah, I get it. But, an all-timer who completely fell on his face just because the quarterback fell off. We've seen guys play with bad quarterbacks before.
Storey, if you were to the usage that JSN got, not so much the usage, but the schematic usage that JSN had last year, if you put Justin Jefferson in that situation, Justin Jefferson is going to have 20% more. 20%? Justin Jefferson.
Okay.
Yeah. Is that crazy to say? Like,
yeah, it's a little crazy to say because Justin Jefferson was in a, we've seen guys play with bad quarterbacks before. We saw Jamar Chase play with Jake Browning, and he still produced. Justin Jefferson looked like a little boy out there. He couldn't catch anything.
That he had no chance to catch anything because the balls were thrown 9 feet over his head and 2 seconds late.
Yeah.
I'm saying if you were to line up Justin Jefferson in the backfield and then at Y and at Z and in motion and all these creative ways, we'd see he has the second most receiving yards in the history of the NFL per game. That's a fact.
So what happened last year? Is it you put it all on JJ McCarthy?
Dude, yeah.
Okay.
All on JJ McCarthy. Something on Kevin O'Connell for not understanding that you need to have some creative ways to get Justin Jefferson the ball. He's just like, nope, we're going to line you at X. You're going to run a post route, and you're going to be double covered. And our terrible quarterback who has an alter ego is going to try to fucking hit you on this route. Well, and you have bad offensive line.
You're probably not thrilled about the idea or the notion that as of right now, it looks like it's a quarterback competition, even though Kyler Murray has the edge. The latest thing I read coming out of camp was that this is a true competition.
It's not, but yeah, I saw it. I know it's a thing. Kenneth said he did a league back in the day when he worked at Applebee's with my coworkers. I love Applebee's, bro. Major points to Kenneth. It's my spot. One guy, a Steelers fan, took the Steelers defense in the first round. That's some devotion to your team. Was it your league story that someone drafted the wrong Adrian Peterson? I think that might have been your league.
I don't remember if it happened. It could have been. I don't remember if it did or didn't.
We were drafting at Buffalo Wild Wings. You used to do your draft at Buffalo Wild Wings, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it was someone else's draft.
It was another Adrian Peterson?
Yeah, he was in the Bears.
I don't remember that.
He couldn't read. He had a stutter.
Oh.
So essentially he was this version of Adrian Peterson.
Simple Jack, the story of a mentally impaired farmhand who can talk to animals, was a box office disaster that many critics called one of the worst movies of all time.
Got a good brain.
I think you've got a fine brain, Jack.
You make me happy.
But now the question is, can speed...
Now I feel bad making fun of a guy I don't even remember.
Derek says Jefferson is an all-timer, but JSN's the real deal. His numbers last season were not a fluke, and he will have many more similar seasons. I agree. I think JSN's like the 5th best receiver in the league apparently is a slight to a guy that has 1 year of elite production in film. His second year was good, but who's better, JSN or Jefferson right now? Who do you want as talent?
JSN.
Not who's more proven, really.
Yeah.
Derek, do you agree? Wow. Okay. So this JSN love. I love JSN. I think he's awesome, but I don't know. I want to see him. I want to see him do it again, I guess, is my thing. If he does it again,
you're dogging on him because he took a few years to get acclimated to the league. I mean, his season last year was something to behold. And
so was Justin Jefferson's first year. So was Justin Jefferson's second year. So was Justin Jefferson's third year.
But he did that with an all-time defense as well. Like an incredible defense. Can you imagine if they had a terrible defense, what JSN's numbers would have looked like?
Are you drafting JSN at 5?
I would.
You would draft him. Would you draft Puka or JSN?
Puka.
Okay, so you're right on consent. I am too. I don't like JSN in best ball that much. I feel like he's going to take a dip this year. Do you think? Give me his. Is he going to replicate last year?
No. I mean the thing is, he will take a step back just due to the nature of regression. His target share will not be as high as it was last year. Rashid Shaheed will be more acclimated to the offense.
Yes.
Et cetera, et cetera. But I think that the defense won't be as efficient as it was last year either. So the defense, the step back in the defense should offset some of the stuff for JSN, some of the efficiency loss, because they're going to need to throw more to keep up in second halves. Remember how little they threw in the second half of a ton of games last year?
Yeah, and he'd get all his numbers in the first 2 quarters, and he'd have like 6 for 120 and a touchdown. He'd end up with 7 for 140 and a touchdown, which, it still happened. But I love JSN. It seems like it's just a slight against JSN. I'm just kind of touting. I'm counting on and touting Justin Jefferson's revival, because last year was a one-off, and I can only just talk about how bad JJ McCarthy was.
I mean, Kyler Murray was pretty bad last year too.
Kyler has been bad a lot the last couple of years, but his bad is still better than JJ McCarthy.
Like,
Derek says, in a vacuum, I go Jefferson, but it's really close, and I may change my mind in 3 months. Yeah, dude, if this continues into the year and JJ doesn't go back to his normal form of 1,800 yards a year, and JSN's doing 90% of what he did last year, I will change my tune. I just need to see it a little bit more than 1 year. Like,
okay,
I need to.
And I've seen receivers play with just as bad quarterbacks as JJ McCarthy and superstars. I'm not trying to dig into Jefferson, but like, I don't know, man. Like, you don't just disappear from the offense just because of bad quarterback play.
So I got JJ up right here. Let's just look at this. So his rookie year, he didn't really start the first 2 games. 1,400 yards, then 1,600 yards, then 1,800 yards. Then he only plays 10 games and has 1,074 yards, 100 yards a game, then 1,500 yards. And then what year is not like the other ones? Unless you're saying JJ is washed, like, bro, he literally averages 90, 87, 90 yards a game for his career with that year last year, 61. Look at that. 87, 95, 100, 107, 90 yards. That's his averages per season, per game. Like, I know the touchdowns aren't amazing, but I don't know. I mean, we go to JSN, it's going to be, it's 1 year. It's literally 1 year.
And I'm of the belief that is going to continue. So that's just it. I'm taking JSN over Justin Jefferson. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
All right. Well, his best year in all-time year is literally just 10% better than JJ's career.
I mean, Metcalf is gone. Lockett's gone. Who's his competition? Sure, Rashid Shaheed. Okay. And, Elijah Arroyo and the kid out of Colorado State and so on and so forth. But there's no target competition there realistically for JSN. Justin Jefferson.
Sorry, you realize I'm not telling you to draft Justin Jefferson over JSN. I'm not saying that. TJ Hawkinson, baby.
Don't forget your boy TJ Hawkinson taking all those targets and immediately falling down.
Let's do something here. Let's do something. So I have something for you. I think it's gonna make you smile. We got to get to our list here in a second of under the radar players, but I made something that's gonna make all you guys laugh. You're gonna absolutely love this. It's a new segment. Since I talk about TJ Hawkinson every show, I figured why not dive into this. Calling it Hanging with Hawkinson, and I want to do at least a couple minutes every day dedicated to my guy, my Lord, my Savior, TJ Hawkinson.
You're calling it Hanging with Hawkinson? Why wouldn't you call it Hanging with Hawk?
I wanted Hanging with Hawkinson. I don't know.
I think Hanging with Hawk is better.
Well, I'm going to have to go back and redo the graphic. I don't like that. Anyways, I'm doing this content creator league. I don't know if you were in here with the guy at Fantasy Football Nerd's been in here. He's creating this. He has a gaming channel with like 51K subs and pretty big in the gaming world. And he's big into fantasy football. So he's starting a channel from scratch. And he got like Nice and Blunt, Fantasy Football, a bunch of guys, not like Flock and Smitty, but a bunch of like pretty good, solid up and coming creators. I am one of the 12. So I'm going to represent all you guys. And it's a winner take all league. It's a deep league, 2 flexes, 3 receivers, full PPR. And I think I'm going to go with TJ Hawkinson. I think he's my starting tight end because there's 2 flexes, right? So it's really deep. I'm going to just pound my bench with upside receivers. I was just thinking about this because I'm a Hawkinson guy. I want to put my money where my mouth is. And this is a perfect league for that because it's winner take all, right? There's no second place money. And I was just thinking to myself, do I really want to be known as the TJ Hawkinson guy? Like, that's the hill I'm going to die on, because last year I hit on all these players, and, Marvin Harrison, TJ Hawkinson, there's like Pacheco. I'm in on a lot of these guys, especially in best ball, but like my most drafted player is TJ Hawkinson. The guy I talk about the most is TJ Hawkinson, and it's not a great hill to die on in your mind. I'm going to die on this hill because I'm going to live. I'm going to thrive on this hill. No,
it's so bad. He's so bad.
No, he was bad. I was bald. I mean, no, man. Look at this, dude. Last full healthy season, 15 games played, 95 grabs for 960 and 5 tutters, dude. Come on now.
Okay.
Come on now. Look at that. Before that, the last full season before that, 86 catches, 914, and 6 touchdowns. I mean, last year, 51 catches, 438, and 3 touchdowns with J.J. McCarthy throwing on the ball. This is going to go up 20% no matter what, even if he's not better, which he will be better because it's Javonte Williams, baby. 2 years removed. He's coming back. He's 29 years old, coming back.
Dude, when these guys lose it, they lose it. And Hawkinson, love the guy, but he lost it. You cannot talk me into Hawkinson this year.
Weren't you saying the same thing about Javonte Williams last year, though?
I left the door open a crack for him. And again, he did lose it. Let's be real. He thrived strictly on volume, and he will thrive on volume again this year because.
And so will TJ Hawkinson, strictly on volume. Kyler Murray, baby. Let's go.
Kyler Murray's dusty too. You're putting dust into dust. It's the Dust Bowl.
No, there. You know what it is? I was looking back. Remember Zach Ertz, 2024 with Jaden Daniels? He was super dusty too. He had like 64 catches, 750 yards, and 7 touchdowns. That's what I expect from TJ Hawkinson. You remember the Zach Ertz year 2 years ago?
Okay, what do I want 600 yards and 7 touchdowns for? Like, I want a guy that has the ability
to end 23. Tight end 23 is why I want that.
Why do I care about the tight end 23 when I can draft the tight end 25?
Well, clearly, you don't play best ball, so it's very, very valuable.
Yeah, well, no. I mean, I'm talking. I think we need to turn the page into. We're in redraft season here.
Okay, I'm gonna draft him in the league as my starter and wait till the very last round and take TJ Hawkinson. And he's gonna be tight end 9, and I'm gonna win the fucking league.
Okay.
You see that advantage though, because my bench is full with Blake Corum and Tank Bigsby.
You're gonna win this
Casey Concepcion.
I guarantee you're not gonna win on the back of TJ Hawkinson because what?
I can't wait. I can't wait.
Okay, you're gonna get an extra guy who might make a difference, but the bottom line is like you need a difference-making tight end if it's a winner take all, and you're not getting.
No, I don't. There's 3 receivers and 2 flexes and 2. You start like 9 offensive players, dude. I want to stack my fucking flex spot with awesome. Like Christian Watson's gonna be a flex receiver, or a flex, and my running back 2 is gonna be awesome. I'm gonna have like Jutkins and Christian Watson, and people are gonna be taking quarterbacks and tight ends. I'm just gonna wait on Hawkinson. I'm gonna wait on like Malik Willis. I'm gonna have those guys in my onesies. And it's PPR, baby. I just want guys catching passes.
Okay. I mean, I guess. Let me know how that works out. End of the season, I want to see where he ends up.
Well, I'm going to be reporting on it. You're going to, yeah.
Because we're not going to hear him. I'm not going to hear anything about him except for the one game he catches a touchdown.
I hate you so much. All right, we're going to get to the segment. We ran 40 minutes in this intro, so I'm going to hit you guys with our intro, and we'll be back with our unbuzzed players, our under the radar players right after this. 28 seconds.
Nice. Add in the Myles.
We got
Garrett.
scat free soloing. I brought back the Myles Garrett thing. Kenneth's top wide receiver ranks Puka, Chase, St. Brown 3, JJ 4, JSN 5. That's pretty fair. I would have Jamar Chase at 1 personally. Just me personally.
Yeah, I think everybody. I mean, I think you'd be hard pressed to find somebody who does not have Jamar Chase at 1.
JJ's catch against the Bills on 4th and 18, maybe the greatest catch of all time. I think that's up there. It's not as freaky as like Odell Beckham's catch. That was just like a circus show. This was like real life, awesome 4th and 18. Love that catch. Jonathan, what's up, family?
I'll throw.
Just landed in the Midwest. What do you got?
No, go ahead.
Well, let's before we get to the next comment, give me your all-time.
I was going to say it not nearly as flashy, but the Diggs catch against the Saints to
Case Keenum
in the playoffs to advance. Yeah.
That was bad defense, though.
No.
That was really bad defense. Jonathan, what's up, fam? Just landed in the Midwest, got on stream, and just in time for the Hawk Talk. Well, Jonathan, I'm going to play this for you just since you tuned in. We got a new segment. I got to do it. I got to do it every time. It's the best.
You should have a segment called Talking Hawk.
I'll have 2 segments. I don't give a fuck. Let's have 2 segments. All right, let's move on to the list here. And these are under the radar players, 8 guys we haven't talked too much about, 8 guys that aren't really getting a lot of steam in the fantasy community. So we're going to start with Brock Purdy, Mr. Brock Purdy, who's way down here the list on Fantrax. Going quarterback 13 on Underdog right now, but he's going lower on Fantrax. Dude, rushing upside, the injury questions are real. He doesn't finish. He didn't finish last season, missed some stuff there in the middle, but tied to this offense, McCaffrey is getting dinosaur-ish, at least on the ground. Bringing in Mike Evans, Kittle should be back at some point. Ricky Pearsall, a lot of people still have hope for Ricky Pearsall. Do you like Brock Purdy this year? And do you see why he's not getting steamed up a lot?
I do see why he's not getting steamed up. He's not a 450 per year or 450 yard per year rusher, right? Like he's got probably 500 yards rushing over the last 24 games. I think he's played over the last 2 years, but he's got 8 rushing touchdowns. So he's not a 0 on the ground, which is nice. You dig into some of the more advanced metrics over the quarterbacks who've thrown 1,000 passes in the last couple of years or last few years. Purdy ranks 1st in yards per attempt and success rate. He ranks 2nd in touchdown rate and passer rating, 4th in fantasy points per game. Let that sink in for a second. 4th in fantasy points per game. That's crazy. He's not a great value. Like he's not as great a value as like a Jared Goff, for example. But I think he gives you enough on the ground. And I think he's a really nice late round target. He's not being drafted as a top 10 quarterback. If Kittle's back healthy, Ricky Pearsall could finally put it together, and Christian McCaffrey is 80% of what Christian McCaffrey is usually, then he should absolutely be a top 6 quarterback this year.
So what do you project for the passing volume? Because the McCaffrey thing is real with, they don't want to run him into the ground. They'd rather use him in the passing game. We saw this last year. You look at Brock Purdy's advanced stuff here, yards per attempt. He was among the league leader every year starting his career. With 2023, 9.6 yards per attempt. Unreal, but the volume is really low. Last year, we saw the volume increase, only played 9 games, 7.6. But is there a chance that the volume stays here and the efficiency goes back up? If we see that, then we're in for some great returns, because you mentioned the rushing. His last full year in 2024, he had 323 yards, which it's no slouch there. That's Justin Herbert range, right? But 5 rushing touchdowns. Last year, 3 rushing touchdowns in 9 games. So his last 24 games, he has 8 rushing touchdowns. That's pretty fucking good, dude, for a pocket passer. Like Jared Goff has that for his career. You know what I mean?
It's no Trevor Lawrence 2025 season, but that's just the kind of oomph that we want from a guy that's not throwing 45 touchdowns a la Matthew Stafford last year. Now, that being said, if the opposite is true, if Mike Evans is really over the hill, if Ricky Pearsall can't put it together, if DeJon Stribling is strictly a mediocre downfield guy and a heavy blocker, if George Kittle's not healthy, if Christian McCaffrey takes a step back or he starts to fall off, then it could be, we could get mediocre Brock Purdy. And for a guy that doesn't have a ton of rushing upside, don't be afraid to cut him. I'm not going to say he's going to fall off like year 2 CJ Stroud, but if none of those things come together, it could be a bad year for San Francisco in general.
I got this game log pulled up here. Remember the stretch? So this is why I made the bet, the Brock Purdy 20-1 MVP bet, because we saw this specifically against the Bears, which that was a great primetime game. Caleb and Brock Purdy going toe-to-toe. That was literally, remember that Rams-Chiefs game a couple years ago when it was like 50-48? That was similar to that, and it was 48-27. But look at this stretch from Brock Purdy. It was that game I'm talking about with the Bears. He had 3 passing touchdowns, 2 rushing touchdowns, 330 total yards. A game before that against Indy, he had 295 and 5 passing touchdowns. Game before that gets Titans 295 and 3 passing touchdowns with 44 yards on the ground. Like that stretch right there. I know that's like a really small sample, but remember, he was coming back from injury, and he had that really terrible game against Carolina. Look at that, 193, 1 touchdown, 3 picks. Remember watching that game, and the picks were awful. He was not seeing linebackers, just overthrowing Kittle. I feel like that is obviously his ceiling, but like he can replicate this 80% of this the whole year. Brock Purdy is a heat check kind of player, a really aggressive passer. Obviously, he's got all the love from Shanahan. No worry of being benched. I know Mac Jones is a really good backup. And last year, there was rumblings and Mac Jones was playing pretty well, specifically being a Warrior playing hurt. They were going to stick with Mac Jones. They paid Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy's their franchise quarterback. 26 years old. Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, Mac Jones is playing for a new contract. He won't be on this team in 2027.
100%. So you're in on Brock Purdy, quarterback 13. I mean,
yeah, it's a great price.
And I love all about Mahomes. I want Purdy over Mahomes for sure.
I do too. I'm worried about Mahomes in general. I'm worried about the offense. I'm worried about Tyreek Hill. I'm worried about Xavier Worthy. I'm not worried about the running game, but I'm worried about Travis Kelce. And I'm worried about Mahomes in general. Like, he's a really good quarterback. Doesn't necessarily mean that he's a prolific fantasy quarterback. Give me Purdy over Mahomes.
How much more confident are you in how much, in terms of tiers with Trevor Lawrence and Justin Herbert, who go back to back, quarterback 8, quarterback 9? Those are the dual threat guys. And we talked about it. Brock Purdy is not quite the athlete. Neither of these guys are, right? Not quite the player, but the system is for real. And Kyle Shanahan can make any quarterback a top 12 quarterback. Is there a big gap between those guys? Trevor Lawrence, Justin Herbert, and then Brock Purdy? Because they're getting drafted as such, because those guys are getting drafted 80th overall, 90th overall. You can get Brock Purdy at like 130.
I mean, I can't imagine that Trevor Lawrence runs for as many touchdowns as he did last year, number one. Number two, Justin Herbert, he's athletic, but he doesn't run unless he has to. There's no design stuff for him. There's no RPOs. There's nothing, he doesn't even scramble that much, realistically. He scrambled a ton last year because he was running for his life all the time. But it's not like Justin Herbert gives you a lot on the ground either. And they don't really run him on the goal line all that much. So I'm confused why Justin Herbert is 4 spots ahead of Brock Purdy.
No, like Herbert and Hampton are pretty highly rated. And then like the receivers are, Lad McConkey's a value, it appears. We're not Lad guys, but he's in the 3rd or 4th round in PPR. I feel like he could burn so many people last year. That's why he's going low. So I like the weapons there, opposed to Herbert and Hampton. Like, I want to take shots on Lad. I want to take shots on Quentin Johnston. Even Trey Harris is a bench stash. But Brock Purdy, I think, is the answer, right? If you're questioning, like, okay, Ricky Pearsall's injury prone, Mike Evans is 5 years old, Christian McCaffrey might get hurt. The answer is Brock Purdy. If you want to invest in this Niners team, Brock Purdy is the engine. He plays point guard there. He's got some juice. That's the answer, right? And you get all the perks of, you don't have to draft McCaffrey really early. You don't have to draft Ricky Pearsall, who's probably not staying healthy. Mike Evans, who's a 4th or 5th round pick. Just invest in Brock Purdy.
Yeah, I think it's probably the way to do it. If you're not going to get a Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Drake May, to a lesser extent Jaden Daniels, and Jalen Hurts, I don't see any difference between those guys that are in the 7-8 range and the guys that are in the 13, 14, 15 range.
All right, next guy, Chase Brown, kind of going under the radar story. He was running back 7 in PPR last year, and it was mostly on the back of that. Every year he just dominates in the fantasy playoffs, but has like really slow start and kind of slow middle of the season. But Chase Brown, 3rd round pick out of U of I, undervalued as a talent. I think he's a better talent than people give him credit for. Amazing pass catcher. We're looking at 69 receptions last year, 54 the year prior, 88 targets last year. That is like Christian McCaffrey light, dude.
I think it's more impressive the 11 touchdowns last year with what they were running through at quarterback for half the season. I'm surprised that he scored 11 touchdowns. He had 301 touches last year. Absolutely, almost 1,500 yards. That's crazy to me.
And that was including that stretch when the offense went to shit and Browning was in there, and then Flacco came in. He had a slow start, and they were playing Pirine an awful lot. It was like a 64. Pirine was getting 40% of the fucking snaps and some goal line snaps. But we just talked about Pirine in the handcuff show. We do like Pirine, but he's 30 years old. Like, Pirine is just a depth piece there.
There's no real competition for Chase Brown, right? I mean, Pirine's probably going to see 6 or 7 touches a game. That's they do like him there. But this is a contract year for Chase Brown. He's got a chance to earn top 10 running back money if he can show out again this year. If you take out Jake Browning's 3 starts last year, Chase Brown averaged 18 fantasy points per game, which would put him at running back 6. And where's he going right now? Running back 13, running back 14, something like that?
Running back 11. Okay. So he's in the middle to end of the second round in PPR.
Yeah, I don't know. Barring injury, I don't see how he falls outside of the top 10.
And you mentioned the contract here. Not only that, I don't know if you saw the report out of Cincinnati. I don't know why they said it, but they said they're planning on giving him the franchise tag next year. So they're not going to re-sign Chase Brown. So if they're already planning on tagging him next year, why wouldn't they run this guy into the ground? Because we saw it at U of I, man, 35 touch games for this little running back. Like he can't. That was college. I get that, but he's had some games of 25 touches in the NFL. And yes, he's not the best between the tackles runner, but he's serviceable. And the competition, like Taj Brooks, is Taj Brooks a threat to him at all in your mind?
No, like I said, he's got no real competition there.
Yeah, I just love, being tied to the Bengals offense. And he's a forgotten guy just because everyone's about T. Higgins in the 3rd round. Obviously, Joe Burrow is going to be highly drafted this year. I think people are going to, including myself, I don't want to miss out on the Joe Burrow 5,000-yard, 50 touchdown season that is eventually going to happen, whether it's this year or next year. With as long as he has T. Higgins and Jamar Chase and they stay healthy, which mostly with T. Higgins is a question mark, like if anyone's going to do it, it's not Mahomes anymore. I think those days are past him, at least for the next couple of years with the weapons they have there in the O-line. Like this is what I want. I want to buy in on Joe Burrow and going nuclear, and Chase Brown would be a giant part of that. This is like Marshall Faulk type stuff where it's like he doesn't need to have 280 carries. Give me, what do you have last year? 232. Give me 240, give me 70 catches, and give me like 14 touchdowns from like a scat back. Like his value isn't from touchdowns, but he actually has pretty decent touchdown. I mean, 11 touchdowns is pretty good from a guy that's going to give you 70 catches. Like A-Chain, we're hoping for like 8 or 10 this year, right?
Yeah. I mean, what do you think his PPR upside is in terms of final finish on the year, assuming he stays healthy?
I see him as a guy with pretty narrow range of outcomes, right? I would say top 5 is his upside just because he's not going to have the general work that some of these other guys are going to have. You could maybe sell me on number 4, but I think his floor is like 15 if he stays healthy. I mean, how is he going to finish worse than that unless Joe Burrow gets hurt?
I mean, Joe Burrow was hurt last year. You got to factor in the Jake Browning game, but you have to assume that they learned their lesson last year. I would think you would. Yeah, I mean, 80 catches. Is that within the realm of possibility?
I would say so because, I mean, he had 69 last year. 54 is essentially, I'm going to call his rookie year 2024 because he barely played as a rookie. 80 seems a little aggressive, but, how many players besides McCaffrey and A-Chain can actually have 80 catches? The answer is those 2. That's really it. I mean, everyone else is a giant projection. And like if receivers get hurt, and stuff like that. Like nobody else is going to have 80 reception upside. So I just love everything about this. It seems like a boring pick in reality because he's probably not going to have those smash games of 3 touchdowns. But I just see a lot of, 15 for 65, 4 catches for 40, and 1 touchdown games. Like that's like 17 points, man. Like that is a nice floor play for your team. You want Chase Brown or Hampton in full PPR?
Chase Brown
or A-Chain?
Oh, man,
it's tough, right? Like,
yeah,
tough.
I think if I'm swinging for upside, I'm going A-Chan, but if I want safety, it's Chase Brown.
Chase Brown or Derrick Henry, totally different players, but tough one.
Well, that is a tough one. I'm gonna ride the King Henry train until it falls off the tracks.
So you're about at consensus with Chase Brown. The thing is, people are going to be taking Hampton over Chase Brown every league. I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, I'm giving you upside for these guys and why I like them. These aren't necessarily guys that were high or low on, respectively. These are just guys that we haven't talked an awful lot about.
All right, so let's get to the next name here, Mr. DeAndre Swift, close to our hearts, running back 15 last year in PPR. And, I mean, it's been pretty consistent through his career. He always outperforms because people hate DeAndre Swift, including his coaches and teams that draft him and trade for him. He went 1 year with the Eagles, and they ran him out of town. Obviously, the Dan Campbell situation and Ben Johnson in Detroit ran him out of town. And they do like Monangai, and Ben Johnson loves running a 2-back system. This is going to be a 2-back system. How do you think, let's start here. How do you think the workload is going to break down between Monangai and DeAndre Swift? Because last year, towards the end of the year, it was trending to like a 55-45.
Yeah, I think it'll be 60-40.
Swift 60-40. Swift.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, 223 carries last year. Pretty nice. 5.5 yards a carry, essentially. 9 rushing touchdowns. I don't think that's going to happen again because I think Monongai is going to get the rushing touchdowns.
Well,
like
I
most
mean,
of them.
It was career highs in rushing yards, touchdowns, and first downs for DeAndre Swift last year, largely due to the elite run blocking that the Bears offensive line produced. They were, middle of the pack in pass blocking, but they were elite in run blocking, top 3 last year. So, and they're returning a good, most of those guys. They're going to enter the season with a completely healthy offensive line. That's going to keep the best version of DeAndre Swift on the field right now. He's gonna seed carries to Monongai and probably some goal line work, but it's hard to deny that the system that he's in and the offensive line that he's playing behind, it's hard to turn your back on DeAndre Swift.
Yeah, dude, 34 receptions last year too. So I think 9 rushing touchdowns might be adventurous unless this team does go nuclear. Because I think Monongai is going to have just as many rushing touchdowns, but look at his career. Like last year, 48 targets, 34 receptions. And that was due to Caleb Williams. Whenever it's a check down situation, he just buys time like Josh Allen and then just throws the ball downfield or scrambles. But they want Caleb to be more of an on-time passer this year, which is going to include some dump downs to DeAndre Swift, who's great with the ball in his hands. Like he could have upwards of 50 catches, right? Like he has the skill set clearly, but it's about like the offense and what does Ben Johnson want to do, and is Caleb willing to let the game come to him and kind of settle down a little bit and dump the ball down to a fucking explosive playmaker?
That's the question, because it's within his range of outcomes, but I don't think it's on the higher end just because of the quarterback with whom he plays. Caleb's a playmaker, right? Caleb's going to either stand in the pocket or more likely run around outside the pocket to try to make things happen downfield. He doesn't really dump off all that much. In order to have 50 catch upside for Swift, you'd want a quarterback that's going to utilize him in the screen game, the passing game, dump off game, all that kind of stuff. And Caleb Williams isn't really that kind of quarterback.
The really nice thing about a player like Swift is he should be able to meet his ADP if everything stays status quo with Monongai staying healthy. But it's, if something happens to Monongai, like DeAndre Swift is a top 10 running back weekly based on this offense and his skill set.
Top 12. Yeah.
Yeah, where I feel like Monongai wouldn't jump he's way lower in the ranks, but like they would have another pass catching back, whether it's Travis Homer, whoever the fuck else it is. Like Swift has proven he could be a 3-down back, where like they wouldn't really miss a beat with Swift with the early down guy. And they would definitely supplement some of those carries. It'd be 70% Swift, but 70% Swift on the Bears offense is go time. So just another little bit of upside, because I think people see Swift as definitely a floor player. I think all these guys outside of Brock Purdy we're going to talk about today are seen as floor plays, which we don't have an issue with. I mean, sometimes you need some safe points in your team. You can't shoot for the moon with Jadarian Price every single draft. Like, let's not do that. And he's only going 5 running back spots ahead of Jadarian Price. Yeah, it's like 20 picks in ADP, 18 picks in ADP. But like, I'm taking Swift all day at value over Price.
I want to mix in some Price. I'm still on the Swift train, but I don't want to miss out on the Jadarian Price season that could happen.
All right, moving down the list here. Ramondre Stevenson, running back 24 last year in PPR, getting drafted at running back 29. We have Henderson getting drafted at running back 20. We talk about this quite a bit with the fact that, Henderson's going that much higher than him. How would you rank these two guys? I think you're probably a little lighter on Henderson at running back 20. And are you high on Stevenson at running back 29?
I mean, I think I have to be. Have you dug into the advanced rushing metrics and the passing metrics on these two guys? It's a stark difference.
Stevenson was great last year. Like,
he was amazing last year. He was 5th in explosive run rate. He was 5th in missed tackle rate, 5th in yards after contact per attempt. He also, his yards per route run last year was 1.41 versus Henderson's 0.98. And he's an elite pass protector. Cleaned up the fumbles. Unless he falls off and starts fumbling again, I think he's going to remain the lead back. And he played at least 57% of the snaps in 9 of the 14 games played in 2025. He did have that injury, right? I think he's going to be a really nice value for fantasy managers this year. And I think Henderson is being wished up as opposed to being steamed up for that. Admittedly, he should take a second-year leap, but I think the leap is people are projecting too high of a leap.
Where would you rank these guys? Back to back?
Probably. I might put. I mean, if I was, you don't have to take him before before Henderson. They both have to have SON in the last name, right? You don't have to take Stevenson before Henderson, but realistically, I probably would rank him 25, 26 with Stevenson ahead.
Yeah, I'm still, I mean, regardless of rankings, I would still take Hendy ahead of him, which might sound blasphemous because, I hate Hendy. I don't think he's that great of a player. The archetype of player Henderson is the guy, the shooting for the moon guy. And like where you have to draft these guys, I mean, I know running back 20 is a little rich, but Hendy, if he takes the job, if the fumbles happen, if Stevenson gets hurt, like that's a top 8 running back. Stevenson without Henderson is not a top 8 running back. He is solid. I mean, you said the advanced metrics. I get all that, but I feel gross taking Stevenson. And again, I'm not a Hendy guy, so I'm kind of just fading this backfield entirely because it just seems messy week to week. But Stevenson would be the value. I mean, if we think it's a 50-50 split, which it probably will be at least to start the year, like give me the cheaper guy, a guy going well outside the top 24.
Yeah, I mean, we want to take pieces of ambiguous backfields, but the fantasy community is not projecting this to be an ambiguous backfield. The fantasy community fully expects that Henderson is going to be the lead back for this offense, and I don't know that is the case. Otherwise, he wouldn't be going 9 picks ahead of Stevenson.
It's shiny new toy, man. People love and Henderson for some reason. I don't know if it was the opening preseason game kick return touchdown, because remember how that raises like an ADP, like an entire round last year, because he didn't show it to us in college because Judkins was the starter there. I mean, that's just the bottom line. And Judkins wasn't like a 4th round pick or anything, but it's not like he was sitting, he couldn't beat out Saquon Barkley or Bijan Robinson. Like Quinshon Judkins is a fine player, but when's the last time he's actually been the starter? Travion Henderson been the starter on his team, like high school?
The year before Judkins transferred into Ohio State, Henderson was the de facto lead back.
But it still wasn't like a giant workload, right? Like 220 touches.
I mean, but they always run a committee at Ohio State, so it's tough to take anything away from that. Like,
not with Maurice Clarett, they didn't. He was the fucking bell cow, dude.
That was like 20 years ago.
Oh yeah, was that Jimmy Haslam?
Ryan Day has always run a committee at Ohio State.
All right, let's get over to the next player here. We're going to wide receivers. CeeDee Lamb. Not really getting talked about a lot. People talk about Justin Jefferson a lot because, the obscurity there with Kyler Murray, and they're like the upside with Kyler Murray, Kevin O'Connell. Everyone's talking about George Pickens. No one's talking about CeeDee Lamb. Now, the stats are skewed because he missed a lot of games last year. Wide receiver 22 last year. Points per game was better, though. It was 14.3. Not great for him. But 14 games played. He was playing hurt. Still 75 catches, 1,000 yards. 3 touchdowns, though, is wild. That's not going to continue. Look at his previous years, man. 6, 12, 9, 6. Like, he's not a double-digit guy, but he's good for 8 touchdowns a year on average. Pickens helps him. I'm not worried about Pickens. I know it kind of takes away some of his high upside stuff, but you can't double CeeDee Lamb anymore. And if you give me, 50% of the snaps where CeeDee Lamb has a linebacker on him or a safety on him or even a nickel corner on him, he's going to burn the hell out of them. And, I feel like last year, for some reason, Dak was they were really trying to get Pickens involved. Like, how many of those games that we see they throw like 3 of those quick hitter slants to Pickens and he'd drop one of them, and he'd have like 2 catches, but he'd drop one of them. And they weren't really looking for Lamb last year. Maybe it was because he was hurt. How do you break this down? Are you in on CeeDee Lamb? He's going wide receiver 5, wide receiver 4, depending. Some people take JJ ahead of him, but end of the first round, CeeDee Lamb, full PPR. Are you in?
Yeah. I don't know, man. I would love to be in because it's CeeDee Lamb, and CeeDee Lamb has been amazing. Now, last year he finished as the wide receiver 11 in points per game. Admittedly, he had a game where he only played like 7 snaps, and then week 18 he played like 45% of the snaps. So you take those out, he only finished wide receiver 9 last year, and some of the 25% target share, 90 yards per game, 2.5 yards per run is nice. 32% first read target share, that was down. Right. He finished 13th, 3rd, 9th, 12th, 26th among advanced metrics. So the CeeDee Lamb that we saw from 24 and 23 and 22 that guy didn't seem to be there last year. And whether that was due to scheme change, just a down year in general, or George Pickens taking work away, it feels a little pricey for CeeDee Lamb based on how everything went last year. George Pickens, he's got a lot to prove this year. And now he's going to keep defensive honest. You mentioned that they're not going to be able to double CeeDee Lamb, but I don't know. 5 over, like, where are you at? Would you rather have Justin Jefferson or CeeDee Lamb?
I feel like the upside's with Justin Jefferson because the competition's not the same, but the floor is always with CeeDee Lamb because I know what I'm getting with Dak Prescott. I know it. I know I'm getting a top 5 pocket passer, a guy that has a rapport with CeeDee Lamb. I think he's a great player. I don't think he's Justin Jefferson level player. He is in the tier below that, but he is a baller, man. And they, for his archetype of player, he has a 12 touchdown season here, which is probably not going to happen again. But again, not getting doubled in the red zone is huge. And I'm probably taking running backs over him is kind of the issue, right? I would debate taking Saquon over him, but I'm taking Genty over him. James Cook is close because in PPR, James Cook's not getting a lot of catches, but safe as hell there. So I'm in. I want to get some shares because I want to have exposure to the Cowboys offense, and everyone else is really expensive. Pickens is a 2-3 turn pick. Javonte Williams is going in the mid-third round, like late third, early fourth at latest. So like you have to pay a pretty penny to get part of this team. And I'm in on CeeDee Lamb, man. I think the hate's gone too far. I know his ADP is not that late, right? But like CeeDee Lamb should be a top 8 pick. If you go on history in PPR, it's safe as hell. It's CeeDee Lamb. He's not old. He's in the prime of his career. This offense is still I know you don't think it's top 5. I think it's still top 5 potential. Top 10 offense for sure, right?
Maybe. We'll see. Defense is going to be better this year. Don't say I didn't warn you.
He's been hurt the last 2 years too, because the year prior, remember the shoulder injury he was playing through and he was like, he had the brace. CeeDee Lamb's a fucking warrior, man. He's a warrior. Let's get to some comments and then we'll get to the rest of our list. We have 3 names left to cover. Let's get to some comments that I have missed. We have Dean says, Hawkinson comment. I love this. The real issue I have Hawkinson is a 3rd good wide receiver on the team. I feel like Greg Dulcich and Gunnar Helm have higher upside. Well, Juwan Jennings is not really a good wide receiver.
I disagree. I think Juwan Jennings is a good wide receiver. Not a great wide receiver.
Not last year. Not last year.
Who? Jalen Naylor? Jalen Naylor he's an improvement over Jalen Naylor.
I don't think so.
What?
Dude, Juwan Jennings had Kyle Shanahan. Like, he's a fucking system wide receiver. Get that. He's a good blocker. Juwan Jennings, very good blocker. Very good blocker.
Wait, so you know who else is a good blocker? TJ Hawkinson. He's going to be doing a lot of blocking.
He's going to be on the field a lot. Don't besmirch my boy, okay?
It's really unfair. It's my team. It's my quarterback. And if you guys do that, man, it's unfair. We lost as a team.
Hanging with Hawk.
So the Greg Dulcich thing, I do like Greg Dulcich because of the lack of pass catchers there, but you're also tying yourself like to potentially the worst offense in football in a scrambling quarterback. And Greg Dulcich is also terrible at football. Like, if you guys say Hawkinson's bad at football, like Greg Dulcich has 24 career receptions. We're going to ignore that fact. And then, okay, Gunnar Helm I do like. Unfortunately, though, Daniel Bellinger's there, and they love Daniel Bellinger. Like, they paid him for some reason a lot of money. Why did they do that, for one? But he's going to be inline blocking. Gunnar Helm right now is 399 yards Vegas total. So if you do like Gunnar Helm, Dean, and any of you guys listening, I don't hate drafting Gunnar Helm in best ball, but smash that 399 yard over. That is so low, Storey.
I didn't say I was going to. I don't necessarily. I'm not in on Gunnar Helm. Like, why are you telling me that?
I'm attacking you about Gunnar Helm.
I'm not going to go
Storey,
bet.
go bet it. Go bet it. Derek apparently knows everyone. He said Case Keenum's dad was my college football coach briefly.
Yeah, that's cool.
He knows everybody. Everyone.
Really...
Dean agrees that wasn't a good catch versus Saints. That was a whiff. It was an atrocity. It was a clutch catch, and a lot of guys might have gotten a little gun shy about getting their knees taken out or getting their brains beaten in. But most guys in that situation wouldn't have cared because that was the game on the line. Even though the game should have been on the line, that game was over. Just another epic fail in a line of epic fails by the Saints in the playoffs. Like that run of just them losing games, missing kicks, doing dumb shit. Unreal. And Drew Brees should definitely have more than one Super Bowl.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. But he was handicapped by one of the most arrogant men on the planet, Sean Payton.
Even though Sean Payton helped resurrect his career, but let's not talk about that, right?
Disagree.
Ooh, who was this? Jacoby Jones, right?
Oh,
Broncos
man.
Ravens bomb.
Dude, I watched that in the locker room, in the men's locker room at the club. I was watching that game. That was 2008, right? Yeah.
How do you let Jacoby Jones get over the top on you in that situation? You know what? That's also, let's give some credit to Joe Flacco's arm, which is still all-time legendary currently. The guy's a fucking rocket, dude. And I've always been a fan of Joe Flacco.
Yeah, that was what a wild game. And man, what a good Super Bowl. Remember they had the power outage during that Super Bowl? With the 49ers Ravens?
Yeah. That was the Kaepernick. That was the Harbaugh.
Yeah.
With Kaepernick.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of storylines in that one, dude. Good game.
Yeah. And
Niners should have won that one for sure. Yeah. We got Pierre in here. I'm here to take notes on my rival for Fantrax. His name is Mitch Marner in the Discord. You guys probably see him in there. And he's from Canada, so I just named him Pierre because he's a French Canadian. So I don't think his name's actually Pierre, but that's what I call him. And we had I think we had 12 crossover leagues last year in the 250s on Fantrax. And he's fucking good. I think he made the playoffs in 7 or 8 out of 12. I was in 10 of those 12. And I went 2-1 against him in the playoffs, but very, 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 very knowledgeable dude. So I hate that he watches my stream, so he knows who I'm going to take. He's such a good player. I don't think he's really sniping me, but I know last year specifically he took.
He was in last year. He was doing all the.
He was the guy that had the awesome team last year in our co-managed team, our co-managed league. He had the monster
he was in a bunch
team.
of your Fantrax drafts last year.
That's Pierre, man. He is one of my rivals, even though I did wipe the floor with him in the playoffs. But so we were in 12 leagues together. I think I started off like 1-5 against him early in the year in our matchups. And then I ended up really catching steam, and I had definitely a winning record for the rest of the year. But there was a point where I was like 1-5 against him. I was like, fuck this guy, dude. He's really into drafting. He's really into rostering 3 because Fantrax has 8 bench spots and, no trades. And everyone just has 2 defenses on their team because you have, multiple tight ends and quarterbacks. But he would roster like 2 kickers and 3 defenses. I was like, what are you doing? Like, don't do that. And he would always draft one in like the 11th round, 12th round. And I always stream. And he said this year he's changing his strategy. He's going to go with a non-early defensive approach and just kind of wait, which is what you should always do in fantasy football. Always.
I mean, smart guy.
Dean said 2026 winning Best Ball Mania team had Brock Purdy as the number 1 quarterback and was drafted at the same position this year as last year. So he's going around the same. That's fair. He had that, I had Brock Purdy in a couple leagues last year. I was against him in a couple, and that game against the Bears, watching that, if you were against him, was like, there was no way the Bears were stopping the Niners. And the first half, there was no way the Niners were stopping the Bears. So it was like, this is going to go on and on. Remember how fast they were scoring in that game too? I think it was 21-14 in the first quarter, just up and down the field, up and down the field.
No, I do remember that.
And Brock Purdy he scored 45 points, dude. 45 burger.
That's nuts, man.
David, who has the better chance in putting up the most points between Chris Rodriguez, Gainwell, and White? So this is scoring dependent. So if it's like half PPR, Chris Rodriguez probably has the edge. Full PPR, Rodriguez has no chance to outscore these guys, even unless he goes nuclear and like Tootin gets hurt. But let's break it down between Gainwell and White. Rashad White has the upside because he can actually be the starter, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, White is not a world-beating running back talent, but he's had several years in Tampa Bay as the guy there. So he's in the tail end of his career, but Gainwell's got 2 other guys that are already on the roster that have established roles. White he's competing, and he's got every opportunity to kind of earn that job. I would say all these guys are probably better in best ball, but you can say that for a lot of dudes.
Not Chris Rodriguez, though. He's not better in best ball.
So I'll disagree with you there because, I think that he's a much better pick in best ball because you're never going to know when those touchdowns are going to come. He's going to score when he cracks your lineup, it's going to be on touchdowns, and there's probably plenty of games where he's not going to. You're going to be disappointed in a season long. Whereas if he gets a touchdown or 2 in a game, then he's cracking your lineup.
Rashad White has a really low contract. It's like $2 million, right? It's crazy low. Like he makes less money than Algier.
1.8, I think.
Yeah, that's concerning. But Gainwell got paid a pretty penny, and they're planning on featuring Gainwell in the passing game for sure after what he did last year in the Steelers. But Rachaad White, the depth chart there with JCM and Katron Allen and Jerome Ford and McNichols, like that's the definition of just a guy, like just guys. There is nobody besides JCM who could have some juice, but JCM's not a pass catcher. So I think at the bare minimum, we have Rachaad White as the lead pass catcher there, right? The third down back and the turbo package guy, and still getting a drive or two, even if JCM kind of explodes.
Yeah, we got to keep an eye on that training camp, though. I can't make any conclusions about it right now. I've got to get more information.
Who do you want in PPR, though? If you had a draft right now, which we should not be doing in terms of redraft, Kenneth Gainwell or Rachaad White? I'm going to put them together because they're both pass catchers.
Rachaad White. Yeah. I'm drafting right now. It's Rachaad White. Bucky Irving is healthy.
David says, give me Charbonnet over Hendy. As much as we hate Hendy, that's insane. I mean, in Dynasty, no. And in redraft, no. Charbonnet's not playing until like week 7 at the earliest. We think. Week 6, week 7, possibly week 10. So as much as we hate Hendy, like Charbonnet is going to be aspiring this year to have Hendy's perceived role. As a player, yeah, I kind of like Charbonnet more than Hendy as a player. Pre-injury, at least. See what he comes back after the ACL. But yeah, I don't know, man. I'm a big Charbonnet fan. I'm a big Hendy hater, but I can't get there. Why Storey is gone, I want to give a shout out to the bros. Also, guys, we need 16 more likes. We need, let's see how many more subs we need. 16 more likes. We need 13 more super chat dollars. We need someone to join the community, and we will do another draft. Any of those things happen, guess what? We doing a draft, boys. I do want to shout out to the community, all you guys. Disbanded, who's a new member. Appreciate you joining, man. Everyone else, you know who you are. You guys are interested in hopping in. Talk to Helen Hunt. She's our accountant. She's our producer. There she is. She'll take all your questions for joining the community. She looks great, by the way. She looks great.
She does.
Yeah, link in the description, guys. Go to the website, professionalfanatics.com, or just hop over to Patreon and search us. You'll find us. Good way to support the show. A lot of good perks, man. Discord community is probably the biggest perk. It is a giant group chat with a million different channels with all of the people you know in here, all the co-hosts. We have community fantasy leagues. Hop in those. We have a couple spots open for the ones we have already. Drafts are going to be in mid to late August, and we're going to keep on opening more as long as you guys join and want to play. Boom, hop in there. Guest appearances on the show. I want to shout out to Keith, who came on the show 2 days ago, did a great job. We have a bunch of people. We're going to have every other Friday night fan night during the season. So come on, talk some ball with us. Talk about Helen Hunts. Free merchandise giveaways. Shirts. This is shirts, hats. I said shirts. Yeah, he doesn't have a hat because Storey doesn't want to hide his awesome hair.
His hair's awesome.
And if you're a betting man, you know, we got this rocking, guys. This is 96 and 58 last year. Even odds player props. We'd be crushing that shit. We'd be crushing it. You get access to those early plays and get the same odds I get. Where are we at in this comment section? So if you're interested, I appreciate anyone who considers joining. Let's get back to the comments here. Rachaad White can be a PPR scam, dude. He is a PPR scam guy. What's the lowest he's ever had? Like 45 receptions in a season?
I don't know. Off the top of my head, I would guess somewhere around that range. He's certainly a PPR scam kind of guy.
Drake London versus Rice. I am team Drake London, and it's not very close. You could maybe, if you want to make this ADP conversation, we have Drake London going pick 19 and Rashee Rice going pick 25. Are you still on Drake London at value, or do you like the 6 to 7 pick dip there for Rashee Rice?
No, I'm still on Drake London.
We love Drake London around here. We love him.
Yeah, we do. Maybe too much, but we'll see what happens.
Is Woody Marks worth drafting? Definitely worth drafting as a handcuff. Like, you're off Woody Marks now? You love Woody Marks. Didn't you call him like your second best handcuff on the handcuff show?
Yeah, I did. I'm not. It's not that side was not about him. It's about the David Montgomery hype that seems to be steaming up. Like, Woody Marks is absolutely worth drafting. If they're going to split work, which is what the most recent report is, then I think Montgomery is probably being overdrafted. Now, I'm not saying that Woody Marks is going to be usable as a standalone piece, but if he digs more into Montgomery's workload than people are expecting, Montgomery, who probably is not going to catch a ton of passes there in Houston against a middle-of-the-road offensive line, could be a rougher year than people are expecting.
Sub-Zero is all about the Odyssey. He liked it the first time. He watched it again. He said generally better than Oppenheimer. I hope so. Oppenheimer's okay. It didn't. The first 2 hours of Oppenheimer, A+. Last Hour, Oppenheimer, C-. I give it a B. It's not even the top half of Christopher Nolan movies for me. Give me The Prestige, bro. The Prestige is a fucking great film.
Sub-Zero's talking about the Odyssey, though. I mean, here you are blathering on about the
Oh yeah, sorry. Well, I haven't seen the Odyssey, so I can't speak on it, man.
See it. It's not like it's not in the theater.
No, I'll wait. I'll get it in my box in about a week and a half. I know it's supposed to be seen in theaters. You know what? I can just get all fucked up and watch it and have the same experience.
Yeah.
Jonathan, I love how Storey completely ignored the fact that he played with a high ankle sprain like the whole season. Of course, he looked different. We're talking about CeeDee Lamb here.
Yeah. Okay, Jonathan, Johnny.
Oh, I'm Jonathan.
He missed 2 games with that ankle sprain. Okay. So he was supposed to be healthy when he came back. And you know who didn't miss any games with a high ankle sprain? Come on, Ross St. Brown. There, I said it. CeeDee Lamb's a bitch.
What's not the same? The theater and home Sub-Zero or Oppenheimer versus Odyssey? I feel like Odyssey will have a lot more action, right?
Probably home versus theater.
Yeah, I get it. I've seen so many movies in the theater. I'm just off of it.
Sure.
You know.
Yeah.
I'd rather watch The Burbs for the 34th time. Why are people so high on Walker? He's never been in the top 20. It's the contract. It's the postseason. It's the Chiefs. It's Andy Reid. It's the depth chart behind him. And it's Mahomes coming off an injury for more dump downs. That is why people are high on Walker. Are you high on Walker? We have him in our dynasty team, so you better be high on him, dude.
I have to be. I got to be high on Walker, and it's not just the dynasty. It's the trepidation about Mahomes' injury, his comeback, the weapons getting older, the worry of Rashee Rice off the field stuff. I think they're really going to lean into the run game. This is the first, I'd say, real running back outside of the 1 year that Pacheco had, that Andy Reid has had in the last 10 years.
Yeah, I'm in. I'm not going to reach on Kenneth Walker. Like, I'd be more willing to reach on Saquon, but the talent's real. You know, all the injury stuff, they've been small injuries, right? It's nothing that's connected. Not too worried. I'm worried about Walker holding up to a giant workload. If they were to give him 22 touches a game, that's probably not. It's great for us for fantasy. Like, we're going to love it for 6 weeks. And he's going to miss 3 weeks with a high ankle sprain. Speaking of high ankle sprains, and he is a tiny dancer, so he needs those ankles to dance. He needs them.
Yeah, but he was healthy all last year.
Helen Hunt is all natural. She's hot. Yeah, man. Helen's our girl. Keith says Helen Hunt sent me best movie I ever made. What's up, Keith? We were just talking about you coming on the show. You were fucking awesome. So theater versus home is what Sub-Zero is saying. It's not the same. I get that for sure. And then Jonathan called you a tea drinking bastard. So you fucking tea drinking bastard.
I'll go ahead and own that. He's not wrong.
Welcome to the Professional Fanatics live stream. That's one way to kick it off.
Those AI videos you were doing for a while.
When you made that an AI, it was chicks chugging tea.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah. I would like those girls if they chugged anything. You know what? They could have been the 2 girls in 1 cup thing.
They're not.
I'd watch that.
You know they're not real, right? Like they don't exist in reality.
Those chicks or the 2 girls in 1 cup chicks?
No, that does. I'm just saying those chicks don't exist.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I would. There's girls like that though. You know.
Yeah.
My wife's got cans like that, bro.
I've never met them, but there are girls like that.
You mean you've met Erica? She's got cans like that.
Yeah. Well, that's true.
Let me look at this again. Hold on. Let me look at this again. Let me check this out.
Welcome to the Professional Fanatics live stream. That's one way to kick it off.
Nice.
They're boobs for sure. But the way they chug those drinks is very impressive because that should translate very, very, very nicely to a liaison. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, I'm well aware of the innuendo.
Sub-Zero says AI, not the biggest fan.
I'm with
No, Christopher Nolan's AI would have shit blaring and like explosions going off. Fucking love it. Are you a Michael Bay fan, Sub-Zero? Because I'm a big Armageddon guy. You like Armageddon, right, Storey?
Yes.
But Michael Bay is terrible besides that. I hate Michael Bay stuff besides Armageddon. That was his Baypex, not Apex, Baypex.
What? Wait, what? Baypex? What are you talking about?
Yeah, Apex. Like an Apex is like here.
Oh,
it was the Baypex. Michael Bay's Apex. You get what I'm saying, man?
Yeah, no, I get it. That's funny. I get it. It's funny.
Thanks, man. Am I a clown? Do I amuse you? I want to get back to the list. We got 3 names to hit here before we log off for the night. Let me see what's going on with my. Here we go. 3. I only had 8 names total here. So what's the next name? It's Jalen Waddle, guy that you think would be talked about more, but he's really not.
I don't know, man.
So
you put this on the list, and I was surprised because he is getting a lot of talk in the fantasy communities. But
is he?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, at least in the circles that I listen to. So
we haven't talked about him much, though. We haven't.
We have not talked about him. Yeah.
Okay. So do you like Jalen Waddle? He is going wide receiver 22. Last year finished wide receiver 24 in PPR. Of course, he says 16 games played, but it's actually like 14 games played because in those games he misses like 8 quarters because he goes to the tent and hangs out. And I don't know what he does in that tent, but he's not playing football during that time. But still pretty young dude. And obviously they traded a lot to get him. Courtland Sutton's getting older. Pat Bryant apparently can't stay healthy at all. And Troy Franklin's bad. And Marvin Mims will never play more than 40% of the snaps. Evan Ingram's dust. So this is Jalen Waddle as the true number 1 receiver we've always wanted to see with a big-armed quarterback. I'm not going to say Bo Nix is great. Big arm, though, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, where's he being drafted right now?
Wide receiver 22.
Okay, a little higher than I would like. I mean, he finished, last year's wide receiver 24 in a terrible Miami offense. So
yep,
is that he's been over 1,000 yards in 4 out of his 5. No, he's been over 100 targets in 4 out of his 5 seasons in Miami, and he had 1,000 yards 3 times, and he had 70 catches 3 times. He was a wide receiver 8 in 2022. Now, 23, 24, 25, people were expecting big things. It never materialized, but he offers the speed and the run after the catch ability that Courtland Sutton doesn't really have in this offense. So is this the new Breeze Michael Thomas pairing with Bo Nix, big arm Bo Nix with Jalen Waddle?
Michael Thomas is a monster.
I mean, I'm not saying he's got 149 catch upside, but does he offer wide receiver 12 upside in this offense?
I mean, it would be on the back of really big plays. It's not going to be on the back of touchdowns because he's not a big touchdown scorer. It is not that pairing because Bo Nix is not Drew Brees. He's very erratic in the intermediate to short game. And Jalen Waddle is definitely not Michael Thomas. I mean, they're different type of players. There's an argument to be made that Jalen Waddle is way more dynamic, which I don't think it's an argument. It's a fact. But Jalen Waddle is fine in the short game. You saw his rookie year was a lot of short stuff. He can live in that area, especially with some good yak stuff because he is dynamic, very, very athletic. I don't think he's lost a step personally. But he's not really a savvy zone beater. He's not really great at like little hitches. He's not really good at slants. Like he needs to beat you downfield, which is a way better pairing with Bo Nix than Tua. Tua can't push the ball downfield. If it's not a perfect timing out route, like it's not going to hit. There's no second option. Jalen Waddle is the guy that if you extend the play, you cannot guard Jalen Waddle for more than like 3 seconds, right? That's where the upside is going to be with Bo Nix.
Yeah, he's just got to stay on the field. Something happens in Denver where everybody other than Courtland Sutton seems to get injured on a regular basis.
So guys going around him, Luther Burden. You want Luther Burden or Jalen Waddle?
Where's Luther Burden going?
Same spot, end of the 4th round.
Really?
Yeah.
End of the 4th round?
Fantrax, I'm going off what I've seen in Underdog. These Fantrax rankings are a little wild, but so Terry McLaurin. Would you rather have Terry McLaurin or Jalen Waddle?
Oh, Terry McLaurin easily. But I'd rather have Jalen Waddle. I'd rather take a shot on Jalen Waddle than Luther. What are we doing with Luther Burden? What is going on? Like the guy, he was a part-time player last year. So we're fully wish casting this guy into a full-time role as a mid-range wide receiver too. I don't get this. I don't understand what's going on with Luther Burden.
Terry McLaurin, you sound like the dude from Hangover. What's going on? Terry McLaurin or Jalen Waddle? I think you're saying Terry, right?
Terry McLaurin, yeah.
Ibuka, you want Ibuka?
Yeah.
Garrett Wilson over Waddle?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. What about Mike Evans?
Oh, I think I'd take the shot on Jalen Waddle here.
Devontae Adams. Now, this is a really close one, I think, for you.
Yeah. That one's close.
Full PPR. You want some volume.
I do fully expect some regression for that touchdown rate for Stanford, so I'm going to go with Jalen Waddle.
That's probably the line for me is Devontae Adams because, we know what we're getting from Adams. We're getting a lot of stuff in the red zone, a lot of stuff in the end zone, a lot of touchdown upside, but, like, what is Devontae Adams' realistic, like, upside as a receiver? 65 or 70 catches and 900 yards or 1,000 yards max? Like, there's a world where Jalen Waddle goes for 1,400 yards this year. I know it's a small world. It's a weird world, but it could happen. Sutton's getting up there in age as well. And also, the nice thing about Sutton is he's not a target hog. He's not going to really take a lot away from Waddle in terms of target share, but he's a guy that's going to eat up coverage, right? Like, you have to account for him, especially in the red zone. Like, if anyone's getting doubled in the red zone, it's gonna be Courtland Sutton. It's not going to be little tiny Jalen Waddle.
No, probably not. But I don't know. Like, who's the number one there? Like, we fully expect Jalen Waddle is going to outproduce Courtland Sutton this year.
Oh, yeah. And I think Courtland Sutton's fair to his ADP as well. He's like wide receiver 40. So that seems really nice. But if we're shooting for upside, is Waddle an upside play or a floor play for you at wide receiver 20?
Upside play because the wheels could fall off here. Jalen Waddle could be the same guy that we saw 2 years ago. He could have the injury bug. It could be an offense that takes a step back. There's a number of ways it could go wrong. So I do think it's an upside play. I think he's got probably top 16 upside. I realistically think that he does. If he unlocks Bo Nix or Bo Nix unlocks him, right? If we get back to that 2022 Jalen Waddle, then I think he's got wide receiver 1.5 upside.
Let's do the target game here and give me the floor. Let's assume health here, which is really hard to do with Jalen Waddle, but assume he plays 17 games. Floor and upside for targets this year.
Floor has to be 100 targets. And then upside.
That would be very concerning, dude.
What, the floor?
No, if he gets 100 targets, holy shit. I know he got it last year. Last year was just a fucking broken ass offense there. So,
well, what are they going to do? Throw the ball to RJ Harvey? Like Troy Franklin? Pat Bryant? Like, where's the ball going to go?
All right. Since he had 100 last year, we'll go with 100 targets. What's the ceiling?
100 targets in 4 out of the last 5 seasons on a pretty broken Miami offense.
What is the ceiling, though? Like, absolute ceiling Jalen Waddle's targets this year? I have a number in mind.
140?
Exactly what I had in mind. You know what? Yeah. You just got yourself a wand of trust, buddy. Yeah. Wand of trust. 140 targets for Waddle. That is his ceiling.
140 targets. If he's 120 targets, he's going to smash his ADP. Absolutely crush it. And I'm not a Waddle guy. I'm not a huge Waddle guy, but like I'm realistic to the reality of the situation.
Sub-Zero, 128 targets, 98 catches, 1,200 yards, 9 touchdowns. I mean, you just named yourself a top 6 receiver in fantasy, and that's the upside case, I hope, Sub-Zero. But also, if he gets 128 targets, he's not catching 98 passes from that. Like, Bo Nix is way too erratic. That's 140 targets. He'll get 98 catches with that because he's operating way down the field, too. He's not like he's always going to have a higher ADOT.
He's not going to have, he's not going to have like a Michael Thomas level catch rate, right? Like that just doesn't exist for Jalen Waddle.
So 140, I think, is our upside. So let's just say let's just say 120, since we said 100 for his floor, 140 for his ceiling. If we get 120 targets from Jalen Waddle, he finishes at his ADP. Like, we can try to do the math here. That's probably about 82 receptions for Waddle, 85 receptions. With his yards per catch, you're looking at probably 1,100, 1,200 yards and probably 6 touchdowns because he's not really a touchdown dude. That meets his ADP for sure, though.
I think if he gets 120 targets, I think you're underestimating the catch percentage a little bit. I think he's going to smash his ADP. This offense is going to be good this year. Bo Nix is a good quarterback, so he's probably going to score. You know, who's going to score touchdowns in the red zone? It's not going to be Courtland Sutton again, probably. I mean, I know he's been the go-to guy, but
no, it's going to be Courtland Sutton, and it's going to be RJ Harvey. It's going to be Bo Nix, who has 5-6 rushing touchdown potential. Cameron says this Broncos offense is the most attractive offense. Well put, bro. And one of the reasons that it could be perceived as unattractive is the defense, right? Like, and the thing is, they love chucking the ball with Bo Nix, but it gets them into trouble sometimes because Bo Nix has, 2 or 3 passes a game where it's like, this is like Tyler Shuck in college, where he's just like throwing to a linebacker And, a lot of times, I'm not saying they get picked all the time, but like, I'm talking about, Storey, these crazy Bo Nix throws that are just not competitive. There's no reason to throw them. There's no one open. There's 2 defenders in the way. He doesn't see the linebacker, things like that. So it's in this team's best interest. You saw him draft Jonah Coleman as well. It's in their best interest to be not run heavy, but to be a balanced offense. I know Sean Payton loves to chuck the ball. You don't got Drew Brees anymore, man. Bo Nix is fine. Bo Nix is a game manager plus in my mind, an aggressive game manager plus. That's when he's at his best. When you ask Bo Nix to win you games, I know last year he won a lot of games in the fourth quarter. They were like the cardiac kids. If you take the Bears out of the equation, they were probably the most exciting team in the fourth quarters. But I don't know. I like being tied to Sean Payton. I know you hate Sean Payton, but he's still a plus offensive mind in this league. The defense scares me for Waddle's like ultimate upside. When we talk about a guy like Terry McLaurin, the Commanders' defense is not good. Like, if they're good, if they exceed expectations, the Commanders are what, like a top 17 defense?
Yeah. No, their defense is going to be terrible this year. They're going to lose a lot of games. So that's
right.
good
and be in a lot of shootouts. That's what I'm saying. Like, what's the upside for the Denver's defense is number 1. Their floor is like 6. Like, worst case scenario for this Broncos defense, a couple of guys get hurt, Benino gets hurt or something. They're still a top 6, top 7 defense. It's stacked. This defense is stacked.
Yeah. I guess I didn't really take that as much into consideration, but I still think that this is going to be a competitive team, a good offense, and despite the defense being one of the best in the league, they're still going to have to win games. They're still going to have to play against the Chiefs, right? They're still going to have to play against. They've got a first.
Chargers have a decent defense too.
They got a first place schedule, right? So it's going to be a tougher road to hoe, I think.
I like that saying, road to hoe. It's pretty cool. Let's see here. This was last year. Do they have the schedule up here? This says trans. That's not the right kind of trans. I would have made a joke, but I couldn't do it. All right, let's get to the next guy here, which is right next to him. A guy that has been talked about for a while, many years, as the post-type sleeper is Jameson Williams. I feel like he's not getting a lot of buzz this year. He's a very buzzworthy player, though, because it's Jameson Williams, and the dude is just an electric player. Big play merchant, playing on a great offense. But Jameson Williams, wide receiver 26. And this is probably because it's PP. These rankings are half PPR, by the way. This is underdog, wide receiver 26, which I like him much more in half PPR. Never going to have 80 receptions in a season. But, wide receiver 12 last year. Now, that's going to be inflated because there was that game and a half. I know it's crazy to say a game and a half inflated it. But when St. Brown was hurt, he missed what? Essentially an entire game. He played like 6 snaps. Next game he came back, he was a little limited.
On their first drive, I think.
But wide receiver 12 last year, like, why is Jameson Williams going wide receiver 26 if we just saw him be a wide receiver 12? And maybe because Laporta got hurt last year and he's back fully.
That's the reason.
Is that it?
Because Dan Campbell is ceding play calling duties again, and his second half surge coincided almost exactly with Dan Campbell taking over play calling duties, and Laporta missed time. Laporta, after undergoing a microdiscectomy, is fully healthy, fully recovered from his back surgery. So he will be active to start the year. Just a 17% target share, right? I mean, I get it. He's a first-round pick. He's got explosive upside. But a new offensive coordinator, returning target competition, he's a super high variance pick. I will give it that. It's tough to pull the trigger on this guy because I think you're going to be disappointed probably 60% of the time. It's just going to be it's St. Brown and it's Laporta and Gibbs could go nuclear this year. I just don't know how much there's going to be left for Jameson Williams.
Guys, we'll get to all the comments here in a couple minutes. We have one more name after this. I'll get to everyone's comment. Just give it a couple minutes. Last year, though, I think I'm not saying he shed the label of the boomer bust guy because he's still going to be like that. That's Jameson Williams' game. But last year was really consistent, even without the little mini St. Brown injury. Like you saw them, it was on the back of Dan Campbell calling plays, like you mentioned, which probably not going to happen this year. It will after Petzing is awful for 4 weeks. Dan Campbell's taking that shit back. But you saw the crossers, right? The crossers was why Jameson Williams is an elite player. He's fine down the field. He's kind of like Xavier Worthy, bad awareness, steps out of bounds, drops passes. But if you get him in man-to-man and you just run him across the field, not only can you not keep up with him, he's going to torch you for 30 yards after the catch every time. And that's how they have to use Jameson Williams. St. Brown takes a lot of attention. I have not been drafting that much Jameson Williams in best ball, and he is a definitely better than best ball type player which is concerning to me. And it's like looking at the guys going around him, at least in terms of fan tracks, which is wild because they have Ladd McConkey after. They have Ladd McConkey at like wide receiver 28 in PPR, which is just wild. That's not the way it's going to be drafted. But Devontae Adams or Jameson Williams? Who do you want?
Devontae Adams.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, I think they had the same, like, in terms of receptions. Like, that's kind of they both have 65 or 70.
Yeah.
Obviously, Jameson has 7 touchdowns back-to-back years. That's probably where he's going to be at, 7 to 8 to 9. But the yardage totals are going to be on Jameson Williams' side. Like, easy money, bro. 400-plus yards more.
Well, okay, sure. But the touchdowns, I think you have to lean Devontae Adams there. And I think with Jameson Williams, you're never going to know when to start this guy. I mean, you're going to have to start him because now
you start him every week. What do you mean? You start him every week.
There you go. What if he regresses back to another 760-yard season? You know, he had 1,000 yards last year. There was no Sam Laporta there. What if he regresses back to another sub 1,000-yard season? Where are those yards going to come? They're going to come in bursts and stints. It's not going to be predictive. We're going to be on here complaining about Jameson Williams went 3 for 28.
I'm taking JMO over Devontae Adams. I'm just kind of off Adams this year. The soft tissue stuff is going to creep up.
I don't know, man. Like, I'm taking Adams. Give me the TDs. Give me a guy that has done it for the last. We're talking about Justin Jefferson. Adams has been a touchdown machine for the last 5 years.
For his whole career, I understand that. But what we're not factoring in, I know this is projecting. You know, I don't have to project the fact the Rams' defense is going to be way better than it was last year. So there goes some of the volume passing stuff from Matt Stafford. And we know the Lions' defense is going to be trash again. I know it because their secondary. Storey, you are the starting cornerback right now on that team.
Woo!
Like, I have a clip here for this secondary, and it's come.
Yeah, Dad. You need some of this.
This is cum.
Are you worried about Tesla at all?
No.
I know you hate Tesla. No,
not
at all.
I hate Tesla. But come on. The guy had a 0 in his production profile at Arkansas. Nobody literally ever heard of the guy before the draft. He pops his head up for what? 3 touchdowns on 11 catches or 8 touchdowns. It doesn't matter. Like, it's not going to happen again. You want to talk about a non-sticky stat and regression? Isaac Tesla's touchdown rate.
Yeah, I'm not. Like I said, I'm not drafting JMO too much. I'm going to have some shares in redraft. I'm not going to reach on. He's not a guy I'm reaching on. I like the players going around him. I mean, obviously, I want Terry McLaurin over him. What about DJ Moore? That's an interesting name. DJ Moore or Jameson Williams? Because DJ Moore is the one. Really?
Yeah, DJ Moore's the one there.
But is there really a one with this new Bills offense? You know, Joe Brady's still he's the coach now.
Yeah,
nothing's changing.
Give me the guy attached to give me a legitimate wide receiver who's done it in the past attached to Josh Allen.
Okay, one last upside point and just point for the pro Jameson Williams, since the only time you're getting it on this exact segment is for me because Storey wants to piss in his mouth. Jared Goff, every single year, you know what you're getting? You're getting 4,500 yards passing. You're getting 32 touchdowns every year. That's got to be distributed somewhere. And I love Sam Laporta this year. Every year we love St. Brown. It's the same year every year for St. Brown, wide receiver 4. Tesla, you don't love him. So, like, where is all this going? Like, Jameson Williams is going to get like 20% of this pie. This is what's going to happen.
I mean, you would have thought that he would do better than 17% last year, but that's where he ended up in terms of target share with no Sam Laporta.
Fuck you and your stats, Story. Asshole. Pretty upset with you.
I'd like to start out this press conference with a thank you to John Fox.
Last guy. We have one more guy to talk about. Guys, we need 14 more likes in this video. 14 more likes, 13 more super chat dollars. Someone join the community. You join the community. Guess what? We're doing a best ball draft. Any of those things, or 5 subs, any of those things happen, we're doing another stream after this. We're drafting some underdog. They have a new tournament. It's a 6-man tournament, which I don't really love, but I want to get a couple shares of that going in. See how that works. Yeah, it's called Badge Bros. Remember Bang Bros? Do you remember? No, you remember Badge? Remember Bang Bros though, the old porn site?
No, but I mean, I'll take your word for it. I don't.
That's the one where they like pick up girls in this like bang bus and then bang them in the bus. They talk about it in Superbad. I think that's the one they talk about in Superbad.
What in the world? Okay. All right. Cool.
Do you remember Captain Stabbin?
Yeah, I do remember that.
Oh, so you remember Captain Stabbin, but you don't remember Bang Bus. All right. Last name here to talk about. These are under the radar players, and Harold Fannin is not getting a lot of steam, not getting a lot of juice. Tight end 6 last year in full PPR. Yes, he plays in the Browns. Yes, I'm very high in the Browns. Are you high on Harold Fannin this year? He's going tight end 7, roughly around pick 80, 75 in PPR.
What did he end up with? 6 touchdowns last year? Was it tight end 6?
He had 7 because he had a rushing touchdown. He had 6 receiving and one rushing touchdown, but 72 receptions, 731 yards, 107 targets. And that was with, the first 7 weeks, kind of sharing with Njoku. No Njoku there. They did bring in Concepcion, Denzel Boston. Like they added some juice there. I don't think this really hurts Fannin. It'll probably take away some of his high-end target games, but he'll be more efficient because they actually have to guard some guys downfield this year.
Right. I mean, his rookie year was impressive. 72 catches, 731 yards. Should take a step forward, second year in the league. But you did mention they brought in Boston, or they drafted Boston. They drafted Concepcion. He's got target competition there and an unappealing quarterback situation. At the same time, Todd Monken, we know his systems are very tight end friendly. So I think I'm probably right at market with Harold Fannin because there's a lot of things working against him. But in terms of him being the tight end to own, he is the only tight end of note on that roster. And the system he plays in should be very friendly for the tight end. And it's not like their main running back, Quinshon Judkins, is a world-beating pass catcher either. So, yeah, I think I've got to be mid-range tight end with him, which is about where he's being drafted. So I'm not high or low. I just don't know that I'm going to be having a whole lot of him on my rosters because I don't really like those mid-range tight ends to begin with.
It's a rough range typically. And you mentioned Todd Monken. We love Todd Monken on this program.
He can't masturbate. He can't make it come out.
He can't go left?
No, he can't go to his left. Can you go to your left?
Nah, nobody can.
No one can.
Hard, It's funny, though. There's other things I can do lefty. I can eat lefty. I can brush my teeth lefty.
There's a big difference. You need rotation. You need tempo. You need feel.
Season. I think you learn a lot. In fact, you learn a heck of a lot more when things aren't going well than when it is going well. And I learned a lot.
Things aren't going well and you can't masturbate. You definitely learn some things. Kyle Pitts or Harold Fannin in full PPR. They're going relatively close. An underdog, actually, half PPR. You have Pitts going ahead of Fannin, which is kind of weird. But give me who do you like? They're both pretty similar. I think the upside is probably with Kyle Pitts, just based on a potential better offense. But Harold Fannin is the offense, essentially, besides Judkins.
I don't know that it's a better offense. I mean, it's a narrow target tree. I'll give it that. You got that going for you, right? So there's not a whole lot of guys catching passes there, which is nice, or a high target share. But come on, man. Michael Penix, Tua, like, what are we doing here? Like, what's Penix shown us?
Deshaun Watson, Shador. I mean, the same thing. Like, I'm actually high on this Browns offense compared to most people.
Admittedly, that's worse. So, man, it's a coin flip, but I guess give me Harold Fannin because of his rookie year was pretty impressive on a pretty bad Browns team.
And I know it's a new scheme, but Todd Monken is a good scheme for tight ends, but they were using him in such creative ways. I saw him line up at every position. H-back, fullback, in the slot, in line, out wide, like in motion. Like, this was awesome usage for Harold Fannin. And a lot of his PPR value came last year, and it was fake PPR value because it was a Dylan Gabriel, who's a fake quarterback, literally throwing little 1-yard ins and outs and little flares. Like, that was watching. Remember the game? It was a London game, I think. It was Vikings Browns. It was Carson Wentz versus fucking Dylan Gabriel, and it was the worst game. Like, no quarterback was throwing the ball past 5 yards downfield. Harold Fannin had the opening touchdown. I think Fannin's line that game was 6 catches for 26 yards. I got to find this because
I honestly don't remember that game, but I've probably blocked it out of my memory.
Oh, no, it's even worse. It was 4 for 13. 4 for 13. Look at this. 4 for 13 and a touchdown. He caught the first touchdown. It was 21-17. The Vikings won. I specifically remember that because I streamed him. I had Fannin everywhere, and that was somewhat early in the year. I think it was the first bye week day. And no, actually, you know what it was? It was Tucker Kraft's first knee injury. He missed that game, so I started Fannin in like 13 leagues. First drive catches a little 2-yard touchdown, and the rest of the game 4 for 13. Insane stuff. You can't make that up. 4 for 13. That is a rushing line, not a receiving line.
Yeesh.
That game, yeah. I also had Harold Fannon's first touchdown score of that game. It was a great day for me. And you know what? At tight end, you will take 4 for 13 in a touchdown most weeks, right?
Oh, yeah.
PPR,
100%.
11 points.
Yeah, unless we're talking about the top 4 guys who are supposed to be difference makers, then yeah, give me a touchdown. Like that's all you can hope for. If you're streaming the position, or if you're dealing with one of those low end wide receiver or tight end ones, you've got to hope for a touchdown, because what is the realistic upside for even Sam Laporta? He's a mid-range tight end 1, and he's going to have plenty of games where he goes 4 for 26. So you want touchdowns with these guys.
And let's not forget, Mr. Harry, I call him Harry Fanny, Harold Fannin, 7 rushing attempts last year. That's awesome. They gave him actually like a couple fullback carries, which is, I'm just saying, like, I know it doesn't seem like much, but he's probably gonna have 1 rushing touchdown again this year if they continue this kind of shit. Like, that matters, man. Like, at tight end, a very, very light scoring position. I think my answer though is Kyle Pitts is the upside play. Harold Fannin's the floor play. There's a world where Kyle Pitts goes back to being kind of obscure as like tight end 13. I think Harold Fannon's range of outcomes is very narrow. He's never going to be a top 3 guy this year. He just can't with the talent up top. But he's not going to fall outside the top 12. There's just no way. Even as bad as his offense is, like we saw him do good with Dylan Gabriel. And Shedeur he's better with Shedeur, right? You want Fannin with Shedeur over Deshaun Watson?
I don't know that it really matters. Like, this guy, he operates pretty close to the line of scrimmage, so I don't know that it realistically matters.
It probably doesn't matter, but I want the PPR scam with Shedeur.
Yeah, I guess. Okay.
Deshaun's going to be chucking the ball downfield. That's what he does, and they're not. Harold Fannin doesn't operate in that part of the field typically.
I can't wait till Concepcion ends his season with a 60% catch rate.
I don't care. He's going to have a bunch of targets. They're going to give him handoffs. Concepcion's going to smash, bro.
He's not going to smash. I love Concepcion, but he will not smash.
Why? He's not going to smash wide receiver 52.
He might get up to wide receiver 44 if that's valuable to you. Great.
Well, no, that you're saying is upsides wide receiver 44?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus, dude. So who's catching the ball there? There's no balls to catch.
There's no balls to catch, and there's going to be a bunch of scrubs every week catching some stuff.
Harold Fannin and Casey Concepcion. You think Jerry Judy's going to factor in? I've been drafting a little bit of Judy in best ball in round 16.
Judy, Denzel Boston, what's his name? Concussion McGee. Remember he got the concussion. He sat out the final 3 games.
Cedric Tillman?
Yeah, Cedric Tillman.
They might cut Cedric Tillman. I just read that.
Hey, there's another Tennessee wide receiver. We were talking about Tennessee wide receivers, remember?
Yeah, he actually had a couple nice games, but I'm in on Concepcion. The talent's too good, and
I like Boston.
Dude, you hate Denzel Boston. You hate him though.
I don't hate him, but I like him in his offense better than Concepcion.
You kind of hate him. All right, let's get to the last couple comments. We'll get Storey out of here.
Concepcion is a downfield playmaker. Who's good? Shadeur's not pushing the ball downfield, and Watson might want to throw the ball downfield, but you see how inaccurate he was?
Concepcion's not a downfield. He can make plays downfield. He is a short and intermediate game merchant. The dude's a route runner. The dude's great in the quick game. Like, what? Concepcion's probably the most dynamic receiver in this draft with the ball in his hands.
You're out of your mind if that's what you think.
Give me the list of rookies that are more dynamic with the ball in their hand.
Well, Ty Lemon right off the bat is
no way.
Oh, 100%.
No way.
100%. Yes. I will give you that Concepcion probably is a better route runner than Carnell Tate. But Carnell Tate is a better overall wide receiver than Concepcion.
Right now. Yeah, pro ready right now. He won't be. You remember I had Concepcion as my number 1 receiver coming out of this draft class. So I'm puffing my chest up before the guys even played a snap. Just like, pretty good stuff. All right, we got about 10 or 15 minutes
on the Browns offense.
Guys, 8 more likes, 13 more super chat dollars. We need 5 more subs, or one of you guys signing up for the community, and we're hopping in a best ball draft. Let's get to these comments. We're about 20 minutes behind. Sorry, you got 10 minutes before you got to go?
Yeah, I got a little time.
All right. I'm gonna really milk this and keep Storey up late. Keep him up late.
I'm not giving the eulogy tomorrow, so
yeah, good. You shouldn't, because you didn't even know her name. 120 to 130 targets. Broncos will be run heavy and have a good D. That's what we said. We said 140 upside for Waddle, 100 floor. So 120 makes a lot of sense for Waddle, which he can meet ADP at that. 120 is fair, right?
Yeah, I think that's very reasonable to expect. And if his catch rate ticks up a little bit, then he's going to beat his ADP. If he gets 120, there's a chance he smashes ADP if he becomes the go-to guy in the red zone.
Cameron says Waddle seems like a better real life football edition instead of fantasy edition. That actually is true, right? He's what this offense is lacking, right? They want to have it with Marvin Mims. He's going to have that Marvin Mims role, but actually play a full-time role. And Marvin Mims just is a gadget guy. He is not a full-time player.
There's going to be plenty of plays and plenty of games where Waddle's job is to take the top off of the defense, and he's not going to have a ton of fantasy production. I will say, though, there's a lot of steam on Jalen Waddle in the fantasy community. The guy has been loved by the fantasy world every year for the last 5 years. Loved by them. And I've never been
since his rookie year, man, because he had 100 catches his rookie year, right? And he was a 5th overall pick.
Yeah, his yards per route run has always been great. It's just he put it together one season and call it injury, call it Tua, call it offensive play calling, call it what you will, but he's only had one great season.
Silver was I was fantasy heavy every day since the 25 season ended. I took a month off. Who are the biggest movers in the last 30 days? That is a loaded ass question. The last 60 days, Quentin Johnson was like 110 ADP on Underdog. Now he's up to 76. But that is a trying to think biggest fantasy movers. There's just so much going through my head. I can't even think of anything.
So let's think through some guys who there were question marks coming into the season. Bucky Irving appears to be fully healthy. Has he moved much?
He's moved back because early when we drafted, he was a 4th round pick. Now he's in the mid 5th. So I can go on guys. I'm like Terry McLaurin is rising up. He was wide receiver 26 when I started drafting. Now he's wide receiver 22. So
what about like guys who haven't signed yet, like Debo or Diggs or Ayuk?
Oh, I got one. Brandon Ayuk. Ayuk's the biggest mover. Okay. He's not getting drafted anymore, which is hilarious. I got a picture of Brandon Ayuk. Here he is. Look at Brandon Ayuk. Look at this. Look at his future as an Instagram model. What a good looking guy. What a nice body on Ayuk too.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, give me some of that Brandon Ayuk stuff. You know what, Silver? Just hop in one of these nights when I do a best ball draft, and we can talk about all the ADP stuff when I have it in front of me. Sub-Zero doesn't mind the Commanders defense. I think it could be average. A lot of pass rush upside with very aggressive corners. It screams 2023 Cowboys, which is turnovers and giving up big plays. I think we said 17. Like their upside is the 17th best defense, so middle of the pack. But that's their upside.
I don't think they'll be able to get past middle of the road. This is going to be a pretty bad Commanders team, which is good. I mean, it's what we want for Terry McLaurin and Jaden Daniels.
Storey just said it, the burden hype. I think Ray is single-handedly hyping up Burden because he's so concerned. He's so fucking concerned about he wasn't even a meniscus, but the injury, the foot injury for Roma Dunze. That is, our channel doesn't have that much pull, but apparently Big Ray does because he's a fucking doctor.
He had a meniscus issue, which totally tanked Derrick Rose's career.
I mean, early in the offseason when you could see the upside potential of Burden versus where he was being drafted. Sure, great, give me it. I loved his end of the year tape. I mean, I loved him in college, and his yards per route run we've talked about for a rookie was elite. But at the price, you're buying him at his upside, at his ceiling. Like, I just can't wrap my head around him being drafted ahead of some guys that he's being drafted ahead of right now.
And yes, the yards per route run were elite. If he had played the whole year and had 110 targets, I'm gonna buy into this targets per route run. And yeah, that's awesome. But guess what? He didn't play the whole year. He also had a 70-yard touchdown on a flea flicker, a broken play. I'm just saying, like, when it's with a small sample, a play like that is going to take it from 2.1 to 2.6, whatever it finished at. Like, I don't know. I like Luther Burden a lot. He was a 2nd-round pick, partially because he had kind of a headache in terms of, like, had some personality stuff. But Roma Dunze was still the 9th overall pick. Roma Dunze is still the number 1. I want to draft Luther Burden ahead of Roma Dunze, but at cost, there's an 18 to 20 pick gap in ADP. Give me Roma Dunze, and Colston Loveland is probably the answer, right? Colston Loveland's probably the one in this offense.
Yeah. I got to eat a lot of crow in Colston Loveland from my
Both of us. We have to. We did it. We did it when it happened halfway through the season when he started breaking out. We watched the film. He looked great. Burden is such a he's this hipster pick, right? That is the guy every year that like there's like 3 or 4 guys. Hendy and Ibuka were those guys last year. Burden is this guy this year. Usually it's rookies or second-year players where it's just like it's a lot of extrapolating, it's a lot of projecting, it's a lot of hopium, as you say. That is the Luther Burden experience.
I think Ja'Cory Crossy-Merritt was probably last year's hipster pick.
Ooh, yep, there you go. And
I'll tell you, who's this year's hipster team? It's the Mike McDaniel offense in Los Angeles. I cannot turn on the radio without hearing about how amazing the Chargers are going to be for fantasy football this year.
And here's the point about the hipster picks. It doesn't mean they're bad picks. The reason they're bad picks is because what constitutes a good or bad pick? It's ADP, it's value. And when these guys get steamed up, 12 to 15 picks, 1 to 2 rounds ahead of where they should realistically go, that just means they have to perform 20% better than what they probably were going to in the first place. So it's the fucking echo chamber and all this stuff. And people want to reach on these guys because also people like making sexy picks, right? They want to be the guy that makes the pick, and especially in these offline drafts, they put it on the board and people are going to be like, damn, Luther Burden, nice pick. I always say this. I want people to say that pick was boring. I want people to be like, yeah, he's okay. Like, I want to make a bunch of okay picks, and I want to hit on some guys in the 6th and 7th round, and I'll win the league. Taking Luther Burden does not seem – it seems more like a league loser than a league-winning pick. Would you agree?
I don't care what people say about my picks, whether it's boring or exciting or what. I don't want them to say anything. I just want to
I don't either. I'm saying some people do, dude. Some people want that's a human element of like America and Gen Zers, especially. No offense to Gen Zers. Like they want that instant gratification. Like, oh, I made a good pick. Oh, thank you. Weird.
Yeah, I will not stand for the Ibuka slander though. The last year, if he and Baker had stayed healthy, it would have been a special season.
So you like Ibuka in the mid to late 3rd round?
It's a little pricey.
How about this? I'm going to give you a game real quick before we get to the comments. Ibuka or Garrett Wilson?
Ibuka.
Crickets. Ibuka or Tet McMillan?
God, Tet's going to play more in the slot this year, isn't he? Ibuka.
I'm taking both those guys over Ibuka, as you know. I'm not an Ibuka guy.
So. I know. You hated Ibuka.
Hey, because of you, though, I had like 7 shares of Ibuka last year because you kept on talking about him. Like I talked about Tucker Kraft and Javonte Williams, and eventually I'm like, all right. At least we agreed on Chris Olave and George Pickens. We had those 2 guys as pillar players, and I'm so happy that, it's like one thing when I'm about a player, and then when you're about a player equally, I am going to just, instead of having a 20% share of this player and having like 6 or 7 shares, I'm going to double that because I'm doubling down on your takes as I fucking respect you. And like, when I disagree with you, though, I will still draft some of those guys.
Also, we should refer to him by his given Christian name, Egg Big Boo.
Yeah, right. Big Boo. Cameron says the Lions are going to be in shootouts every week. Yeah, they always are. They always will. They play inside. The defense sucks. That's why Jameson Williams should be drafted at value. I can't believe you're off on wide receiver 26, JMO.
Yeah, I don't really care about the inside stuff very much. And I don't know. They get a 4th place schedule. I think they're going to be cruising, and they're going to be like this year's Saints, or not Saints, this year's Seahawks, where they're going to be cruising in second halves a lot, I think.
But the Seahawks were cruising in second halves because their defense was shutting teams out and they were getting defensive touchdowns. Like this team, I know Hutchinson's a beast and he can have some nice like JJ or TJ Watt level strip sacks. Come on, man. This defense is not forcing turnovers. No way. They're not stopping the run either.
Yeah, don't ever stream the I will say this, don't ever stream the Lions defense. I don't care who they're playing. Like they will disappoint you. I don't care if they're playing the Dolphins or the Browns or whatever. Mark my words. When people tell you the stream of the week next year is the Lions for whatever reason, for whomever they're playing, don't do it. Don't be suckered in.
On the bottom here, Cameron says Ibuka might be this year's JSN. I fully agree with the upside of Ibuka. The upside of Ibuka is higher than Tet McMillan, definitely higher than Garrett Wilson because the offense he plays in and the ties to Baker. And, he is the number 1. If they use him like JSN was used last year, yeah, he's going to be a top 7 receiver. If they use him as an X receiver, he's going to struggle like he did last year, regardless of the injuries. He's not an X receiver. He's not really a true number 1 in my mind. You think he's a true number 1, Storey?
Mike Evans is gone.
But I liked when he was playing with Mike Evans, the field was wide open for him. Team Money, 8 people were fired from ESPN. It looks like to clear space for McAfee, $60 million a year for McAfee. You're not a McAfee guy.
Not a fan of McAfee, but I think the ESPN fired 8 people because they were bleeding money, not because of Pat McAfee in particular. Pat McAfee is one of the reasons that network is actually where it is right now. And I'm not a McAfee fan, but don't forget, like, it's not like they're paying McAfee $60 million. They're paying for his production company, which pays Pat McAfee. He does his own production. He's got his own staff. So he's not making that much money specifically himself. It all goes into the production of that show, which is a very popular show.
ESPN blows now. It's blowed for a while. It's going the ways of MTV.
I don't agree with the move necessarily, but I just want to bring a little context.
Well, I agree with Ryan Clark. Ryan Clark's awful. He was terrible. He was like bringing TMZ and race and a bunch of weird shit into the fucking workplace and into his takes. Like, dude, evaluate football. Why does everything have to be like, well, this guy's the best? It's hot take shit. It's Stephen A. Smith syndrome, and I fucking hate it. Fucking hate that shit. Stephen A. Smith, you're next, buddy.
Yeah, we'll see.
You don't want to make an enemy out of me. I'm looking right into the camera. Talking to Kevin Durant. What a great I got to get that clip queued up because that's fucking great. Sub-Zero, my issue with JMO is Tesla. I think Tesla robs a lot of looks. I mean, Tesla's a phenomenal athlete, and he's already shown he can ball bail Goff out. The problem mostly with that, and I agree with around the red zone, right? Tesla is going to get some looks in the red zone. I don't think Tesla's like a target hog, right? Not yet, at least. He's not going to really eat into the target share or snap share of JMO. But if he's catching, he caught 5 or 6 touchdowns last year in very limited work. That's an issue because you have St. Brown, you have Laporta, you have Gibbs. Like, where does that leave JMO if it's a 3rd and 6 on the 10-yard line? Like, they're probably not going to target JMO as much.
Probably not going to target JMO as much. I mean,
most likely.
It's tougher to target him less than he was targeted last year. 17% for a number 2 wide receiver.
You just love that stat. You're just gonna love that stat. Cameron, you have to run these legends out until the wheels are actually off. And Devontae and Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry, I have no worries over. I just have some worries on Devontae Adams, and I will take Devontae Adams if he falls. I play a lot of full PPR. I like volume, dude, and touchdowns. I know it's Devontae Adams. It's not a risk. Like, he's going to catch 10 touchdowns if he stays healthy. I understand that. But if he only has 60 catches for 700 yards, that is meeting his ADP. That's not really exceeding his ADP.
Yeah, but what if he has another 14 touchdowns?
What if he has 7?
What if he has 21?
What if he gets injured again?
What if he stays healthy for all 17 games and he wins the Doak Walker Award? Oh, wait, he's not in college anymore. He can't win that.
No, the upside argument to be, what if Puka gets hurt, right?
Oh,
that's the upside of Devontae Adams. You missed it. You missed it, bro. DJ Moore actually looked like he lost a step last year. Kind of did, but it was also usage. It was usage, though, dude. Ben Johnson hated DJ Moore.
I mean, it was. He did look like he slowed a little bit, but he's in a rejuvenated offense with a new head coach. And last year, you had Loveland coming on the second half of the year. You had Roma Dunze. He was injured for a good chunk of it, but he was a wide receiver 3 through the first, 6 or 7 weeks of the season. And then you had Luther Burden there. There's a ton of target competition. So let's see what DJ Moore can do with a fresh slate.
Username, like who is he, says he remembers talking about you. He remembers Bang Bros. He watched it before the stream. Yeah.
Is this still available? This is still up?
I think so. Bang Bus was hilarious. No, you were actually watching Captain Stabbin because I saw the little glimmer in your eye when I mentioned his name. Let's see. My thing with Fannin is that move tight end H-back role is very volatile. It's also very valuable. So it goes both ways. And it's not like you're having to spend the Tyler Warren pick on Fannin, right? It's not pick 60, it's pick 80.
Yeah.
That's a pretty like shitty range in terms of running backs and wide receivers, specifically running backs. You're getting Tony Pollard and Chuba Hubbard and guys like that there. You're getting Jalen Warren. Wide receivers, you're getting, after the DK Metcalf tier.
I'm not sure that Fannin has top 3 upside. If he doesn't have top 3 upside, then what's the point of drafting him? You're just kind of filling out the tight end position. You could probably get similar production just by streaming weekly for Fannin. I don't really like those mid-range tight end archetypes.
Cameron, It says Pitts won me a $500 league last year. I got to go Pitts. Do you play Fantrax Publix by any chance? Because I lost my $500. I did one $500 Fantrax league last year, and I lost in the championship because I went against Kyle Pitts. I was against Kyle Pitts and Brock Purdy, dude. Just like,
I mean,
wait, they scored on fucking 90 points, dude.
Just walk away. Nothing you can do.
Yeah, it was over. I had 3 Derrick Henry teams that advanced, so that was 3 free victories for me. But yeah, that was rough. Kyle Pitts, like of all players to do it, and I've been drafting Kyle Pitts pretty heavily since he was a rookie, like above board, and just always let me down and bang my butt. And then I only had Pitts in like 2 or 3 leagues last year. My wife, actually, Erica, the one league she drafted on her own. I drafted 10 of her teams. She drafted 1 of her teams. She won her 1 championship. She won 3 other ones too, but the one she drafted and she did it on her own. And she waited at tight end very late, which is a pretty savvy move for a pretty novice player. She took Kyle Pitts as her one and only tight end in a deep ass 12-team PPR league. And I was like, I love your team, but you took Kyle Pitts. You didn't back him up. She's like, no, I'm trusting in Kyle Pitts. And you know what? Like, she obviously knows more than I do because that's why she won her league.
I mean, it wasn't the 3 touchdown game. It was the foresight to know that he would absolutely pop off in week 16.
Yeah, we ended up picking up Fannin, and we were playing Fannin for that stretch, and then Fannin got hurt I think he got hurt in the semifinal and caught a touchdown that game, got hurt in the first quarter, and then we were still rolling with Pitts at that point because it was Kirk Cousins and Drake London was hurt. That was why Kyle Pitts went off, though, guys. It was Kirk Cousins and no Drake London. I mean,
yeah,
I think he leveled up last year, though. He leveled up last year for sure. This was not the same old Kyle Pitts.
Yeah.
All right, you can get on. I'll finish these questions, Story. You got stuff to do.
Yeah, I got to split.
You got to go watch Bang Bros, dude.
Yeah. Captain Stabbit coming up.
Real quick, I want to give 1 minute here to my guy. Here we go.
Talking
Top
hot.
12 tight end.
Talking hot. Talking
Top 12 tight end. Top 12.
Where's he be drafted? Tight end
23.
23. Where's Greg Dulcich being drafted?
Tight end 24.
Dulcich finishes ahead of Hockenson this year. Mark it.
Maybe. This 24 career
You're going to push back on that a little more.
Dude, I like Greg Dulcich. I like Greg Dulcich too. I take those guys all the time in best ball. All right, man, get out of here. Great show. Appreciate you. We'll see you next week. Monday, you're going to come on Monday. Monday is the fifth birthday of the show. The 5th anniversary of the first show.
Preparing anything? Are we doing any segments or just
let's do a hot take day. Let's do hot takes. We'll do 2. Next week we'll do 2 hot take days. We'll do quarterbacks and
You got a lot of people coming on?
I'll figure it out. I want you coming on for sure. You've been a part of the show for what, 3 years now? 4 years?
3 years?
Yeah, we'll do the first one as quarterbacks and running backs, and later in the week we'll do pass catchers, wide receivers, and tight ends.
Let me write this down.
5 hot takes each.
So hot takes, QBs and running backs, and then hot takes, wide receivers and tight ends.
Yeah.
5 total for each night.
5 for each of us.
Cool. So 5 on QBs and 5 on running backs, or just 5 total? 5 total, right?
5 total. I did 2 quarterback. I already have my shit planned out. Maybe I'll have Big Ray hop on. What I want to do, we have 6 co-hosts. Maybe we could do a segment, then I'll have those guys funnel in later, and we'll just do a long ass, it's a celebration. In 5 years, we're coming up on our first year of the stream anniversary, but 5 year for the show, like that's determination, man. It took me fucking 4.5 years to make $1, which, all those long movie pods and all the editing, 10 hours of fucking pod to have 22 people watch it. Hey, they're still out there. If you guys are interested in movies, they're pretty goddamn entertaining.
Yeah.
Get out of here. Go to sleep, bro. Get out of here. I'll finish the comments.
Yeah. We'll text. We'll figure it out.
Hi, Story. He's going to watch Bang Bros. Ooh, remember Riley Reid and Violet Myers? They are. Isn't Violet Myers Michael Myers' sister that he killed? Pretty sure that is. Let's see. A couple more comments. Guys, we still need 5 more likes. I got about 5 minutes left. We've done 9 hours live the last 2 nights, so I'm still down to do best ball. 5 more likes, 13 more super chat dollars, 4 more subs, or anyone joining the community. $5 a month to join the community, get in the Discord, and get most of the perks. $10 a month gets you almost every perk. The higher tier is $22 a month. That gets you a guest appearance on the show. A lot of good stuff. Start slow, get in the community, see if you like it. Then you can upgrade, whatever. Always looking for more people to join. Let's finish these comments off. Josh Gordon, man. We had him as one of our biggest what ifs. I think it was Josh Gordon was up there with Len Bias, dude. Len Bias was the biggest what if for me. Different sport though, for sure. Silver with a $10 banger, and I got to do a beer chug now for that. So I'm gonna try to time up this beer chug race, which I have not been able to do because there's a little delay. So let me see if I can do this. Appreciate you, Silver. Yeah, 5 years, man. That's a long time. Full-time is coming up on a year of me doing this every single day live, every night live. Here comes the race. Let's do it.
Here you go.
That one timed up okay. I'm trying to get the timing down. But that was only 10 ounces, so I hopefully I won. But appreciate you, Silver. You the man. You the man. Get to these comments. Thank you. I've always loved Cedric Tillman, but it just hasn't worked out. I love his combination of size and speed and deep threat stuff. But Keith, I don't know if Keith's still in here, but I agree, bro. Casey is, I think, the most dynamic rookie, but arguably is probably fair. I think I'm a little too high on Casey Concepcion. You know, on one hand, I hate the landing spot because it's the Browns, the history of those Browns receivers, the situation at quarterback. Their offensive line's a little better. But the other end of it, I actually like the landing spot because I'm not a Denzel Boston fan, and I think Denzel Boston's a better real-life player than fantasy player. It's going to open some stuff up here for Casey Concepcion, and he can just let his hair down, have his wings out, and just fly around the field. They're going to use him in the backfield a little bit. I think they're going to give him a lot of design touches. And I like this offense besides the quarterback play. Like, I like Fannin a lot. I'm a big fan of Judkins. Like, Casey Concepcion, that's 3 nice young pieces moving forward. So the Browns, you know what? I really, really, really have hope for the Browns, like, going forward. They made some really good moves. The Travis Hunter trade, that draft slot swap there was huge. Like, I'm glad they got away from the Travis, because Travis Hunter might not work out, probably won't work out in Jacksonville. He sure as hell was not going to work out in Cleveland. They would mismanage the fuck out of this kid. So getting assets, they've had 2 nice drafts in a row, trading back, acquiring assets, acquiring young players. I like what they're doing. And Todd Monken, I think, is pretty decent. He has a weird voice, but other than that, not bad. This rookie class is undervalued because it was not a great rookie class, specifically in the offensive side of the ball in terms of skill players, running backs, quarterbacks, stuff like that. But there's talent out there, man. This is still a talented draft. Every year is talented. So, yeah, I have hope as well. I don't really draft a lot of rookies. I draft later rookies typically. But Concepcion fits that bill. Wide receiver 52. What's the risk? That's the guy I want sitting on my bench, dude. You couldn't have said it any better, Disbanded. Appreciates the comment. Also appreciates you, Disbanded. It's the newest member of the community. Everyone give him a round of applause. Let's welcome him with open arms. Hit him up in the Discord. Say hello to him. You'll see him in there for a while. Ayuk, yes, Ayuk is the biggest follower. I wasn't even thinking about that. I think I mentioned at the end of the question. Tua, London Stack versus Goff and Brown. You know what? In the deeper underdog tournaments, I like going Penix because I think Penix is playing week 6, week 7 when he's fully healthy. Tua's going to do okay, but they still want to see what they have there in Penix. And unless they're 5-1 with Tua, they would move off of him. I mean, we did see, remember the Steelers moving off Justin Fields I know it was for Russell Wilson, but he was 4-2 and they moved off him. So they could move off Tua if he's just not looking great. He's being a game manager. They want the upside with Penix. Penix London Stack is great. Well, I think we talked about this a little bit. We hate Luther Burden. I like Luther Burden, the player. I think his upside is really great as a prospect. He impressed me last year. The draft cost, though, hipster guy right there. He's a hipster pick. A wide receiver, what is it? Wide receiver 17-ish. It's definitely in like the mid-4th round on underdog right now. Too rich for me. Appreciate you, Silver. Thank you, dude. Is Burden all hype? Dude, so here's the weird thing about Luther Burden. So he went to Missouri. If he had come out after his, whatever it was, I think it was a sophomore year or his junior year, his second to last year in college, if he came out after that year, Luther Burden was a first-round player. And I think he couldn't have come out because he was too young. But first-round talents. And he regressed. He had like 50 catches for 700 yards as a junior. And that's why he went to the second round. It was like he wasn't hurt. He didn't perform. The film wasn't as good. That's why he fell. So there's two ends of it, right? He was a first round, like he was a really, really highly touted guy coming out of high school, had a baller ass year as a sophomore, and then just did not perform as a junior. That's why he went in the second round. But a lot of people, a lot of teams, like including the Bears, had first round grades on Luther Burden. Sean is the biggest Burden fader. I have like 5% Burden and underdog. So that's not the biggest fader. I have guys where I'm at like 2%, but I'm obviously under board there. 8% is average. So I am not drafting a lot of him. That's the word. He's a slappy. Burden's a slappy, the hipster. Oh, Abuka was a smash, and it was the combination of his health and Baker Mayfield's health. I'm trying to think which one is worse, because the report we got a week ago about Baker, he was playing with like multiple injuries, and we knew about the shoulder at the end of the year, but we kind of knew about the knee injury like week 5. There was another injury week 1 that he had like at the end of week 1. So he was playing essentially the whole year injured. That's a problem with Baker. It happens like every 2 years, and he always plays through it to his own detriment though. What did I miss? Did I miss Sub-Zero comment? The reason I like McDaniel, dude, the Dolphins won 7 games last year after starting 1-7. Yeah, I can't believe he kept his job at that point, and they rallied, dude. They rallied. I have not watched ESPN besides watching Pardon the Interruption on like YouTube. I'll watch it once it goes through. I used to love Around the Horn. You don't need to watch SportsCenter anymore because you can find everything on YouTube. You can find these clips anywhere. And I used to love SportsCenter, man. Baseball Tonight I used to love as well. But it is just fading. It's going to become what MTV was. It's going to be a bunch of weird hot takey. It's already there, right? Hot take segments, First Take, fucking Get Up, all them lame-ass programs. Ted Hurst will be the X. Ibuka will be the 2. Godwin and McMillan will be the 3. See, I'm pretty bullish on Godwin, man. Godwin's price point, like wide receiver 41, especially in PPR. I am comfortable going into the year with Chris Godwin as my flex, as my 4th receiver. If I take some like an early running back build or take Brock Bowers, I am fine with Chris Godwin. Again, not the upside clearly as a lot of other guys, but wide receiver 41, he is a flexible player in PPR. I got to get you know what? I get a couple more comments. I should get to them. I'm going to play a clip real quick and fill up my beverage. Give me 23 seconds.
Very cute.
Oh,
What's his name?
It's Kwame.
It's Kwame. Kwame.
Mm-hmm.
Nice name. Nice name.
Yeah, I think so too.
It's a little light for Kwame, no?
What?
A lot of names to pick, but it was a little darker, maybe.
Yeah, can you go?
That's very scary.
You need to get out.
Hey, any guys want ginger ale?
Get the fuck out.
Get the fuck out, Larry. What an idiot Larry is. Only he would say that. I think year 1 Ibuka was more impressive than year 1 JSN. 100%. JSN wasn't given a chance there year 1, but it was a tale of two halves, man. I definitely would favor that early season Ibuka as more of the real Ibuka than what we saw later in the season. I think it's probably somewhere in between, which is a very, very, very good 2 in the NFL. And not a true number 1, which isn't a slight. There's a lot of really, really good number 2s. I'm not saying he's Jordan Addison or anything. I think he's just a step above that, but a step below the CeeDee Lamb category. 100% Sub-Zero. He says the reason ESPN is hemorrhaging is because they stopped being journalists and try to be influencers in a market full of quality and thought provokers that interact with the field more. Shout out y'all. Hey-o. Thank you. Yeah, they're very static at ESPN, and it's funny. All that money they have, all the means of production, and they just give us the same old shit every time. God, Shane Waldron. As a Bears fan, I know about Shane Waldron. What a joke that dude is. What a clown. What a clown. Cameron says, first time watching you guys are cool. Hell yeah, man. 7 nights a week, bro. Pretty much the shortest show we ever do is like 2.5 hours, 2 hours. Typically, they're 3 or 4 hours during the season. And every single night, I'm on here every night. I have a cast of about 6 dudes, as well as a bunch of fans that come on. So we always have guests in the show, different people. So I'm fucking living my best life raw. I'm drunk, so hot. Tyler, the creators, is the best younger guy out. Monken's going to flop. I like Monken as an offensive mind. I don't know if he's qualified to be a, head coach, right? As a leader. I don't know if he has that in him. I don't know if he's able to, manage the clock and do all those kind of things. We'll see, man. We'll see. There's nothing more electric than having rookie Jamar or Jefferson. Dude, rookie Jefferson was the best because Jamar was still going in like the 6th round. Remember how Jamar fell around because that report came out that he had a hard time catching the ball because it didn't have the fucking lines on it. But Justin Jefferson was like a 10th round pick. Super late for JJ. That was and Odell Beckham. Let's not forget Odell Beckham actually had probably the best of all those because he was the latest of all picks. But these rookies have been smashing, man. Now, he does not have Lamar. Shedeur Sanders sometimes tries to play like Lamar when he scrambles back 25 yards and then gets sacked. But yeah, Shedeur Sanders is garbage. Although I still have faith and I draft him sometimes in the last round of best ball because I think he's going to be the guy. Maybe not to start the year, but they're going to give, I would say Shedeur plays 10 games this year. And in Underdog, if you get a last round quarterback that plays at the end of the season, he's going to return value. But Shedeur's a fucking clown.
I don't know who Bozo is. What, is he a clown?
Is he a clown? What, are you kidding me?
Well, what is he?
Yes, he's a clown.
All right, so what's the big deal? There's millions of clowns.
All right, just forget it.
Forget me? You should forget it. You're living in the past, man. You hung up on some clown from the 60s, man.
All right, gentlemen. Great show. 2.5 hours. You know what? I get to get a little bit of sleep. That's awesome. Let's see. I am not a Jadarian Price guy at all. The price point's not insane with the Charbonnet injury. I would think that we're talking about slappy picks and hipster picks. Like, you think Jadarian would go higher, but even at running back 27, I can't get there. I'm not a fan of the player. I'm not a fan of the situation. Let's not forget this run game was pretty bad last year until the playoffs, or at least like the fantasy playoffs came around. And, Charbonnet will be back at some point. Definitely in time for the fantasy playoffs, which is he's going to factor in. They brought in Emmanuel Wilson. They love George Helane playing meaningful snaps in the Super Bowl. This has the stink of a 3-way committee and a team that I think is going to throw the ball a hell of a lot more out of necessity. And also you don't have Kubiak there. So I am not, the same people that are going to tell you Jadarian Price is going to smash are the same people that told you to draft Caleb Johnson last year. Well, Caleb Johnson's going to have 250 touches. Didn't you know that? He's going to have 250 touches because Najee's gone. Najee Harris is gone, and like Najee's workload automatically goes to the 3rd-round rookie. I understand that Caleb was a 3rd-round pick and Price was the end of the 1st-round pick. Like a 3rd-round pick for a running back is not a 5th-round pick. Caleb Johnson, I know the fumble screwed him, but he was never in this team's plans. Never in this team's plans. So I am off Jadarian Price like pretty heavy. I take him an Underdog. His ADP is 67 right now. My shares, it's probably 2% on Price, maybe 1%. When I've taken him, it's been pick 81, pick 79 with a specific build when I want to go for some upside. But that should tell you all you need to know about my thoughts on Price. I had him as my running back 6 in this class coming out in a weak running back class. That was probably a little aggressive, but that's really what I saw on film. And with the the production profile there is not great. So I am only taking him 13 to 14 picks after ADP. That's a best ball. Redraft, I don't think I want to fuck with it at all. I'd rather wait and take like Jalen Warren or something and get an actual guy I can use and trust in PPR, but not into it. And the fumbling thing could definitely happen. Probably not, Jay. We had 2.5 hours. We missed the goal by a couple likes. Let's see. Did we get the sub goal? If we got the sub goal, I'll do it. No, we missed the goal by 4 subs and 6 super chat dollars, and no one joined the community. No worries, man. We're going to be on tomorrow night with Tom, the return of Tom. He's still 50-50. He's going to come on, but he's going to come on for an hour or so. We're going to just get into his brain. That dude knows ball. Hasn't been on for a month or two. And then after that, we'll definitely hop in a couple drafts because it's Friday night, and we'll be on here for quite a while tomorrow night. So appreciate everybody. Good to see some new faces in here. Cameron, great to have you on board with the show. Hopefully you continue to check it out. Disbanded, appreciate you for joining the community. You're the man. Cameron says, how do I join the community? You know what? If Cameron joins the community, then we will draft. So if you want to join tonight, I will draft for that for sure, my dude. It's in the link in the description, the Patreon link in the description. You got to get in at least the semi-pro tier to get in the community, and then there's other tiers that offer a lot more perks and stuff like that. So the Discord and the community, all the access there is just this semi-pro tier. So if you want to, you know what? I'm going to log off. I'll get the notification if you join. So, Jay, disbanded all you guys. Who was asking about the draft? Silver is not in there, so you won't get the notification on Discord. But if you're subbed to the channel, you'll get the notification on YouTube. If Cameron signs up here in the next 15 or 20 minutes, I will start a new stream. I will do an underdog draft or two, and we'll hang out some more. So I'm glad you're ever considering it, Cameron. First night watching, that's pretty awesome. I told this to Zero Fucks. He was like, I'm going to probably join after the first night. I was like, you know what that's equivalent of? That's the equivalent of not just going on a date and fucking a chick, which is usually pretty impressive for most guys. But, if you're tuning in the first night and you join, that's the equivalent of me taking a girl on the date. And not only am I banging her, she's letting me bang her in the ass. That is double whammy. It's like, whoa, dude, he's into the show. He subbed to the channel. Now he joined the community the first night. Whoa, she liked me. I took her on a date. Now I'm inside of her butt. Raw? Let's go, man. That's the good shit. And Keith in the chats. It is a good time. We appreciate Keith. Can't wait to have Keith on the show again. Fucking, I don't believe you, Keith. He said he's never been on a show before. It was his first time on a podcast or any type of media like that. I don't believe it. I'm gonna go back and scour the internet. I'm gonna find some clips from you from like 1999 on like the sports reporters. You were probably on the sports reporters, dude. I really think so. Yeah. Silver, I hope to see you in there at some point as well, my dude. Like I've been telling everyone, we have the 1 year anniversary. So the 5-year birthday of the channel is coming up on Monday. The 1 year anniversary of the streams is August 15th. So I've been telling everyone, if anyone that joins within the first year is going to be considered an OG. OGs get special perks from people that are going to join down the line. OGs are grandfathered in. Whatever tier you get in, once inflation happens and the show blows up, whatever, you know what? Your guys never going to have to change. Like if a tier, you're in a $5 tier goes up to $10, you're in for $5 forever. I'm never raising it on OGs. You guys are in there for, it's like a gym membership or like rent when you have a place, it's like cost controlled rent. That's why Kramer could live in that fucking apartment making no money because he'd been living there forever. He was paying like $400 rent when it was a $700 apartment. That's what I do for all the OGs in here. So August 15th is the 1 year anniversary of the stream. So still got some time, but we'd love to have all you guys in there. We might do a draft again if my boy Cameron joins here. I do have to go to the bathroom and let my doggies out. So and grab a beer as well. So maybe we'll see you in a little bit. If not, tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Tom TD is coming on. We're gonna get to his ADP surprises, all that kind of stuff. Cam said he's joining, so you know what? I'll probably see you guys in 10 minutes. I'll post it in the Discord for you guys, the link, and either way, if you're subbed, you will actually just get the notification. But I do have to go to the bathroom with my dogs out. I'll probably see you in 10 minutes. Appreciate you, Cameron. Disbanded again. Thank you for joining yesterday. Glad to have you aboard. Keith, you're the man. We see who else is in here. Oh, Derek is in here. Fucking Derek's the best. Here he is. Derek is one of the biggest OGs. It is the what do we call it? I'm trying to think. It's the place to be.
What do you call it, Kramer? It was. Come on, Rudy. Come on. We call it the place. The place to be. Yes.
It is the place to be. All right, guys. We'll probably see you in a little bit. Love your life. Stay positive and respect each other. I'm out.
You just seem like a good dude. I thought I'd see if you want to grab a beer, that's all. I'm glad you called. We get home safe, Pistol.
You got it, Jobin.
I'm sorry, what? Nothing. Oh, what'd you say?
I don't know. You nicknamed me Pistol, and I just called you Jobin. It means nothing. I'm drunk. I'm gonna call a cab.
All right, man. You have my number, yeah?
I got you stored in my iPhone.
All right. If you need me, call, okay?
Oh, man, I'm golden.
Cameron is in. Clutch. Coming in clutch, Cameron, for the drafts. Cameron Montoya, semi-pro. So I'm going to send you an invite here, an email, and I'll send you both an email and a message in the Patreon with a link. So make sure you get that. We'll be on in 10 minutes. Give me 10 or 12 minutes to set up the stream. And then we'll be back with a new tournament. There's a six-man tournament called Badge Bros. That's what we were talking about. Bang Bros, Badge Bros on Underdog. See you guys in 10. Love your life. Stay positive and respect each other. Out of here.